Hello, you're listening to episode 53 of the Paro Pod. We're here again. We're talking Brown. We have a recommended film this week as well, The Vanishing.
By the Sleuths.
By the Sleuths, or George Slitzer, I think his name is.
Slitzer.
Something like that.
So we've been butchering his name for the last few recommendations.
Slutzer, well, whatever his name is, he's Dutch, you know. That's a made-up language anyway.
Complete bollocks.
Absolute bollocks.
Absolute
Goofy
bollocks.
English.
Just basically German and English mixed together. Or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
touch of French in there.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Cop on. It's only be one language.
Be unique.
Exactly. Yeah, how you been getting on past week?
I've been getting on. Well, it's actually been like only a couple of days.
Well, yeah, past 4 days.
So, you know, I really had to struggle to get a couple of movies in before that. But
Yeah.
been good. How are you?
That grand, action-packed few days, you know.
Saturday
Love
was
to
good
see.
fun.
Good fun.
Good
Vibes, yeah. Little Paro Pod meetup.
Yeah.
It was great.
Little sesh.
Yeah.
A few fans as well. Shout out to Danielle.
Shout out. You love to see it, yeah. Oh my, yeah.
That fucking episode last week almost fucking killed me when editing it.
Yeah, the editing thing, yeah, Jesus Christ. You know. Oh, I couldn't even look at it. You know.
Man, I was paying
It
a
was
fucking hole.
So hungover, and I was like, oh, I'm in work. I was like, oh. You know, but we got through it at the end, and it was all done.
It got released, that's the main thing.
Yeah. It was a technical marvel that was released, yeah, so big pat on the back. I think we deserve a pat on the back.
Episode 52 almost got
Yeah.
fucked. Let's see how we get on with episode 53.
Yeah, officially in our second year.
Here we go, second season.
Second season, here we are.
Here we go.
Yeah.
What will lie ahead of us
God knows.
in our next year of Paro Pod?
Oh my God, yeah, who knows?
More guests.
What's strange? Yeah, more guests. We need someone to come in and spice it up.
Definitely different setup while doing guests though, because Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh yeah, maybe just...
Man, I didn't tell you about this. There's a moment where like I exported it off my laptop, and as people know from last episode, my laptop, heap of fucking shit, almost exploded while doing that podcast. But I exported it, and I was like, I don't trust it. So I exported it again. I did it twice. Thank fuck I did, because when I tried to merge, you know, you and Isabel's audio with my audio, the first time, it wouldn't load up the first like fucking import, and I sat there and I was like, oh Jesus, oh no, please God, work with the second one, and it did.
Yeah. Imagine we fucked it at the last hurdle. You know, because that was we always wanted to do like at least one a week for the year, to get to the year.
Yeah,
that was the goal.
Now we can fuck up, and I don't care.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter as much. Yeah,
now I don't care. We reached episode 50, and we reached our year. We may very well miss a week.
The standards don't exist anymore, pretty much. You know,
they've been on a steeping decline ever since episode 1. So
yeah, it's just been a scramble to get to last week, and we made it eventually. It wouldn't have been kind of funny though if we'd fucked it up somehow.
That would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I would have just released it. Would have just used you talking.
Just some ghost in the background.
Just a voice like, oh yeah.
Yeah. It was good, but it worked. So that's the success at the end of the rainbow.
How you been anyway? Keeping well?
Grand, yeah. Grand. You know, it's all the same these days. Haven't done much. Working away past 2 days.
So you gotta do.
I think the weather's come back. Kind of liking that.
What the fuck?
Liking that vibe.
Yeah,
you
Jesus.
know? I think tomorrow's supposed to be beautiful, or like Wednesday, and I think all this week's supposed to be really nice. So last week, for people who are listening.
Yeah.
So apparently it's like beach weather. Because
believe it, Jesus, it was fucking scorching today. Well, when the sun eventually came out.
Yeah, well, earlier it was freezing cold.
Yeah,
freezing cold, and there's fog everywhere. And it was really creepy. I was like, oh my God, you know, middle of summer, and it's like you can't even. I was in the office, top floor, and like there's like a building across, and there's a big logo on it, and you couldn't even see the logo because the fog was so thick.
That's wild.
You know, I was like, what the fuck? No one cared, but I was like, whoa.
There's me fucking ghouls in that fucking mist.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going outside.
That's too dangerous.
Yeah, but then like an hour later, I went out and it was like boiling hot, and I was like, oh, I put on my jacket and all. It's horrible.
Sure, when I was falling asleep last night, I was like, it was roasting when I was going to sleep. So I folded over the bedsheet or the duvet, and then my cat came through the window, and she curled up on the duvet beside me, and I had a sheet or like a blanket. I woke up and I was freezing. I was like, I'm so cold. And I turned and I looked at her, and she was too snug. I was like, I can't do that to her. And I just slept like it was.
Those are the things you have to do, you know?
Yeah.
As a cat dad, there's some sacrifices you have to make.
She would have fucking mauled me as well. She would have been pissed.
You're just living in fear, yeah.
You've seen my cat. You know what she's like.
Yeah, she's a scary customer, yeah.
One episode we had to nearly abandon because she wouldn't let us up the stairs.
We were like, it's too far gone. We don't need the record. It's fine.
Go up.
Yeah. Actually, I was woken up this morning by the foghorns. It was so creepy.
Oh,
it was like 5 a.m.
Because like I woke up a few times.
Like every 10 minutes.
It must have been the foghorns because my dog was reacting in the morning. I was like, what the fuck is up with you?
Yeah. It was like down the docks or whatever. But Pure woke me up and I was like, what the fuck? And I got up and it was darker than usual. I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh, it's so weird out there.
Yeah, spooky.
Yeah, spooky times. But now it's summer vibes, so it's all good.
Yeah, I just can't wait for it to get cold. I'm actually just tired of wearing shorts. Let me wear my tracksuit bottoms and be cozy.
I love
again.
shorts. Yeah, but I love tracksuit bottoms as well, you know.
Yeah, you love cozy. To see it. You want to get cozy.
Yeah, you want to get cozy. That's the whole vibe here.
What you been watching this week?
I watched Akira.
Or
Akira, as they say in the
Akira.
Akira. Yeah, it's a film I've always been meaning to watch. I always wanted to watch. Japanese anime film, legendary anime film, hugely influential.
The anime film that brought anime to the West.
Apparently, yeah. 1988, way back in the day, an 80s classic. But you wouldn't know it. It feels like it could have been released yesterday because it's animated, you know.
Yeah, and it's so beautifully animated as well.
Yeah, everything about it is very, very modern.
The vibes, man, the vibes.
Yeah, it's very great world building.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very episodic film, but there's so much, like, when you first start watching, the first half an hour, 40 minutes, there's so much world building going on. And it's not just, like, exposition. It's like they're just referring to things, like, the, like, social unrest and, like, strikes.
Yeah.
And, like, anti-government protests.
And that's almost all in the background as well in the film. That's not the story that you're following.
Yeah.
It's just teasers to the world.
Yeah, like they drop references to it, and you're like, oh, this world is so rich, you know. It's like, oh, I want to hear more stories from this place. But like then obviously it has like the main story. That's pretty insane. Have you ever seen this film?
I have, and I've read the manga.
The manga, really?
Yeah, you should read the. I got the manga up there. You should read the manga. Manga's very good.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can take the first volume there if you want to.
Maybe. Yeah,
it's very, very good, and it reads like. It's like one of the best like layouts to a manga as well. It's really, really good. But the film is the first 2 volumes. There's 6 volumes to Akira. And the film is the first 2 volumes, and I think the last half of the 6th one. And like reading the manga, and then having like I watched the film first, and then I read the manga. And there's like so much shit. Like Akira is an actual character in the manga.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not in the film.
No.
He's not really in the film. He's kind of in it.
He's the name of like a nuke.
Basically. Yeah. It's like a metaphor for a nuke.
In the manga, he's a child basically that walks around. He's like fucking God.
He's like those creepy children that are in the film.
Yeah.
Those things.
He's one of those.
Those are never explained.
Oh, the fucking old children as well.
They're like old, but they're children. They're walking around. They're like, big people do not deserve superpowers. They're like. I'm like, why are you saying that? What does that mean? What are you talking about? Like, are you not going to explain any of that? It's like, it's so bizarre. It's never explained why they're like that. Or maybe I didn't catch it, but like, it's just so strange, you know? But yeah, it's set in 2019. Yeah. Very spooky. Tokyo Olympics is coming up that summer as well, 2020.
Was it actually?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's wild.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. You know? Yeah, and it's set in Neo Tokyo, which is... Tokyo rebuilt after World War III, because in 1988 there was an incident where this Esper, I believe they're called. They're like, I don't know. Yeah. Basically, children who have superpowers. They're like experimental kind of like beings that the government are like working on in secret.
It's Cold War stuff.
Yeah, Cold War stuff. And this child Akira, he's got superpowers. He's got mega ESP, and he like breaks out. He has some fucking crazy. He spazzes out. I don't know. Maybe the manga goes more into it, but like basically, there's like a nuclear event, or there's a massive explosion, and the world interprets it as a nuclear event.
Mm-hmm.
And so World War III breaks out because they're like, oh, who did that? And they're
Yeah.
like, you did it. And they're like, no, you did it. And so like World War III happens. And anyway, Tokyo's fucked, so they have to rebuild it. And they rebuild it in Tokyo Bay, which is really cool. Cause like
in the crater of the nuke.
yeah. So it's like they have this new city that's been like built in the...
Surely everyone there is just grown up with massive amounts of cancer as well, though.
Maybe that's what the children are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just everyone has superpowers. Yeah, that probably is the metaphor. Yeah, but yeah, they have so they have this Neo Tokyo, which is built in the ruins of the old Tokyo, and so that's like all modern, but like it's kind of like, it's like I don't know. It's like a cyberpunk modernism, like hyper modernism, where everything's all, it's like Blade Runners, everything's all like weird, like sort of off, you know, like it's not Japanese.
No, it's like really like American westernized.
Yeah.
But still like extreme, like it's very like the lighting and stuff like that is very Japanese, and the cars and fucking the bikes, man, the bikes.
I want one of those bikes. I want to be a biker in Neo Tokyo. That'd be so cool.
Zipping around.
Yeah. And then you still have old Tokyo, which is like but still on the mainland, but it's all fucked up, obviously. And it's like it's the ruins of old Japan, which is obviously some kind of metaphor for pre-war Japan, and then you know the post-war Japan literally being a metaphor for actual post-war Japan after the nuke. It's all a metaphor. It's just like sort of pushed ahead 50 years. But yeah, you're following this kid, Canada, they call him.
Yeah, Canada.
Yeah.
With a K.
They're like, Canada.
Yeah. Who's the kid? Who's the guy with the red jacket called again?
Canada. And Tetsuo's the
Tetsuo's the one I'm thinking of.
Tetsuo's the villain.
Yeah.
He's the main guy. He's like, because I for some reason I thought this was like Ghost in the Shell. I thought this was like, I thought Akira was a girl, and it's like some kind of like technological kind of thing going on. And there's a huge element of like technological body horror in the film.
Oh man, that's like, because I'm fairly certain when I watched Tetsuo the Iron Man, I'm pretty sure it's like that has to, I'm assuming it has to have been influenced by Akira. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But like I'm sure that
same name,
and it's the same like technological body horror.
Tetsuo, is that live action?
Yes.
I thought that was anime.
No, it's live action.
Yeah, I just saw a clip from it like there today. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The drill dick is it's live action.
Yeah, it's all live action.
I thought that was anime.
Yeah, no, it's all live action.
That's
it's like
so
stop
bizarre.
motion as well.
Yeah, very, very weird. But yeah, you follow originally this guy Canada, and he's mates with Tetsuo, and Tetsuo's like this fucking loser.
Yeah.
He's like a nerd or whatever.
Little bitch.
Yeah, and he's sort of bullied, and Canada's like this fucking slick, like, you know, he's the king. All the lads want to be him. He's got this cool red jacket and this cool red bike.
Yeah,
and he has this
sick.
He has this biker gang, and he goes around and like beats up fascists and stuff like that. And he's still in school, and like he's getting arrested, and like
that's the mad thing as well when you realize, shit, these are school kids.
Yeah, they're in class, and the teacher's like, "You all need to pipe down. You have your future ahead of you." And they're like, "Shut up, old man."
Yeah, you don't get it, bro.
And they leave and start fighting on the streets. You know, it's like, it's amazing, you know. But at the same time, you have this whole background of like social breakdown. You know, it's not just this crazy kind of cool sort of post-apocalyptic scenario. It's like the breakdown of Japan happening in real time almost. You know, it's because like the society they're in is fucked, and that's why they're doing these things. Cause like there's just conflict in every aspect of it. You know, not just individually, but like collective, kind of the whole social fabric is coming apart, you know. It's very, very cool, you know. It's just, I just want to be in a biker gang in Neo Tokyo, like, you know.
And the pure of a whiz around as well.
Yeah, they're loving it, you know.
That I always remember that bit where like I can't remember what point it is, but when they zip, one fella falls off a bike, and then he like looks up, and one of them just fucking brains him with a fucking pipe as he's flying by on the bike. And you're like, fuck that.
Yeah, he kills people. Like, people die and stuff. But yeah, this guy Canada, he's mates with Tetsuo. Tetsuo resents Canada because he's like, "Oh, you're always looking down on me. Like, you're my mate, and we've been friends since the fucking orphanage. They're in an orphanage, I assume after the war, and so they've known each other since they were kids. But obviously Canada's like cooler, so
he's just cooler. Like,
so he just
sorry about you, Tetsuo, but Canada is just cooler.
Yeah, so he just kind of looks down on him, But like, or no, he doesn't look down on him. Tetsuo interprets it that way.
Yeah.
So like he'll come in and defend. Like there's a scene where Tetsuo runs in and like robs Canada's bike, and he zooms off, and he nearly gets himself and his girlfriend fucked up. And Kenda comes over and he saves him.
Yeah.
And Tetsuo's like, "Oh, why'd you do that, man? Like you're always looking down on me. You're always trying to save me. You always feel as if you have to save me. Like I don't want.
Because you do have to.
Yeah, because you're gonna get killed by this biker gang, the clowns or whatever. He's so resentful, but it's all just like inner resentment towards himself. And there's I think the whole inciting incident is he runs into one of these gremlin little old people who are kids.
Yeah.
It's like this child, but he looks like an old man, and he's escaped from a government facility, and he's on like one of these dystopian, like dilapidated Mad Max kind of roads. And Tetsuo's like driving down it, and he bumps into him, and they obviously crash. And this kid is like obviously like he's like a superhuman, so like he's just standing there, and Tetsuo like gets all fucked up. But that's like, I think that's where Tetsuo realizes that, or he sort of unlocks his powers or something like that, because then he's kidnapped by the government, and he turns into a kind of Akira character.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
And by God, does he fucks places up, and he
evolves.
Yeah.
He evolves. Yeah, it's so weird, because he's slowly getting more and more like in touch with his ESP powers. But he's older. I think what I got from it was he's like older. He's an older child.
Yes.
Like he's a teen. He's nearly a grown man. Whereas the kids, whatever they are, the Espers, the little children, they're little children.
Yeah.
They're like innocent. They have some kind of like innocence about them.
Yeah. Especially the little girl.
Yeah.
The guy, the fat kid in the fucking chair. He's like some fucking
what's that?
He's like a pinhead character.
Yeah, Kyoko. I think that's the little girl.
Or Kingpin, character, I should say, not pinhead. Kingpin.
Yeah. But yeah, like they're pure and innocent, like not just in body but in mind and spirit. Like they're not going to abuse that. Like they're hugely powerful, but they don't abuse it. Whereas Tetsuo is like, he's hormonal, he's resentful.
Yeah.
He's older. He's like trying to, climb his way up the social ladder and stuff like that. So he's inherently corrupted by the world around him. So he's getting more and more powerful, and he doesn't know how to handle it because it's all very, very sudden.
Yeah, and his body can't handle it either.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, the body horror aspect of it is insane. I didn't know this film was a body horror at all.
Yeah, man, it majorly is. It's like one of the key examples of like mechanical body horror, technical body horror, techno body horror, whatever you want to call it.
Because it's not really at the start. Because it's all the world building, and you don't even know what Akira is.
Yeah,
they just kind of because people have heard about it through leaks in Neo Tokyo. Like they know that like there's cults going around. Like people are like, oh, the end days are near. Akira will return, but there's no one knows exactly what it is.
Yeah,
there's like a sort of implication that it's some kind of like weapon.
Do you know? Do you remember that bit where? I can't remember when exactly it is, but there's like an old woman that's being carried by like a group of people. Like I think she's only one or two shots in Akira. She's a full blown character in the manga. Like that's how much the manga like expands things.
Like the cultists.
The cultists, they're fully explored in the manga and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be a cool kind of angle to explore. Yeah. When was the manga released? Same time-ish?
Yeah, I think. Oh jeez, I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. I have no idea. I can't off the top of my head.
Yeah. But like people know about it.
Yeah.
People know Akira. And then there's this whole thing where Tetsuo is evolving into this kind of Akira-like figure. And so it's kind of fulfilling the prophecy.
That bit where he's on the fucking throne as well.
Yeah.
And his hands merging.
With that, the hands, because his arm gets blown off as well at some point. And he has like a robotic arm.
Yeah.
There's like a whole fight scene where the government have a satellite. So there's a lot going on.
Does he turn into a giant metal baby or something as well at one stage?
It's metal and flesh. Yeah. That's the thing. He turns into a massive metal baby, because I think his arm falls off and he has a metal arm for a bit. And then there's like whatever Akira is, like obviously it's a character, but I think it's some kind of force as well.
Yeah.
It's like this kind of ineffable force. It's inside him, and it escapes through like this weak point in his body,
Yeah.
and the arm becomes like sort of overpowers him. And there's a point where he starts, because Tetsuo turns evil and he starts abusing his powers and stuff. And he's like running around. And he's trying to kill Canada and stuff like that, and kill random people. And he kills all the cultists and stuff. And then, but there's a point where the arm's like overcoming him, and he starts like crying out for help. And he's like, "Oh, I can't control it." It's like the force within me is acting on its own terms. That's really fucked up.
And it's like that's like nuclear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a chain reaction or something like that. And it starts eating his girlfriend, and it eats Canada. It's like, what the fuck is going on? He turns into a massive, like, glob that looks like a baby, and it's so weird. And
visually stunning as well.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. Every part of the film is so well like drawn. You know, visually it's amazing. It's like it makes it really horrifying though. At the end part, because they're like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know what the fuck it is about like anime or whatever, but like Akira like goes to that like it turns existential as well, but like Neon Genesis is also like that, which I haven't watched any of, but Neon Genesis gets like that as well. Neon Genesis goes to some fucking wild places, and Ghost in the Shell as well.
Yeah. I started watching Neon Genesis and I was like, but I haven't got around to it again because it's nice and short as well. It's only like I think it's 20 episodes and they're all half an hour.
Yeah, 20. There might be 26.
Yeah,
maybe 26.
But I have to get around to that.
I think that what the thing is about like anime is that it's adult cartoons basically, but not like Family Guy and stuff like that. It's like here's a concept that adults can deal with, and because it's animation, if we can think of it, we can make it.
Yeah. That's because this hasn't aged at all.
No,
this is nearly 40 years old.
It's mad old.
Yeah. And it hasn't aged at all. It literally could be a Netflix original because it's on Netflix and it's almost presented. Even the graphic design for the cover, looks like it could have been released this year. Yeah, it's like what?
Not many people have seen Akira. Well, like a lot of people have, but like most people are like watch anime would just watch a Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah. Akira. But everyone's like seeing its influence like downstream.
Kanye's madly influenced by it and stuff like that. Like the entire like fucking cyberpunk genre is basically based off Akira. Yeah,
cyberpunk. Yeah, the whole kind of melding of like technology and like flesh. Because it's not just like humans. It's like the matter, like the matter of the people in Tokyo of Tetsuo is like becoming one. It's like becoming something else entirely, you know?
Yeah.
Like with the machine and like with whatever this technology is, whatever Akira is, whatever the force behind it is. And that's the whole thing with the nuclear bomb aspect of it. Because there's the scientists dealing with it at the end. As things are kind of kicking off and Tetsuo's going fucking Super Saiyan.
He does. He goes the opposite of Super Saiyan. Like he goes super evil.
Yeah. And he's like, he basically, because what happened with Akira was there was the explosion in 1988, and the world interpreted it as a nuclear explosion because it was like it created this like this dome of like white heat, and they're like, this has to be like a nuclear because it's like a metaphor for that. So Tetsuo does the same thing, and the scientists are like, they're like analyzing whatever is happening, like the chemical reactions behind it, and they're like, this is the birth of the universe. Like this doesn't make any sense. Like this is what should be happening at the start of a new universe. So it's like it's a completely different. It's like a new era, you know, not just for Japan, but for like the whole world for mankind.
Which is the whole thing about the nuke as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah. It's like the beginning of a new world.
Yeah,
things will never be the same again.
Yeah, a nuclear world. Yeah, it's so fucked up.
It is fucked up,
but it's very cool. Sci-fi. That's the kind of sci-fi that you want to be dealing with. You know, these heavy themes. You know, the beginning of the universe, creating new universes. Because I think that's what happens at the end when the kids go into the dome.
Yeah,
it's basically a new beginning. Because through the film, there's like always comparisons. Like it is a body horror film, but there's always like juxtapositions with like technology or like civilization and like body parts.
Yeah,
like at the start when you're I think it's like it's showing like arteries and stuff or like blood, and then it juxtaposes that image with the new Tokyo,
Yeah.
like the arteries of the city.
Yeah, the veins of the city.
Yeah, the veins of the city, and then you have when they're in the sewers, like the pipes underneath the city, and there's a scene just after that where Tetsuo's guts spill out. It's like his inner pipe work.
Yeah. The city is a living, breathing thing.
Yeah.
Society is a living, breathing thing.
Yeah, it's all like one kind of organism,
Yeah.
you know. And I forget where I was going with that, but it's like that's the kind of thing that like it's all kind of the one situation happening, because it's, you know, technology and like organic matter. That's like it's not really the idea that there's a discrete kind of point where those things are like can be separated. Like
they're meeting in modern society.
Yeah, it's an artificial separation. You know? Like what is artificial? I don't know. You know, like what is natural? I don't know.
That's like the whole thing of Ghost in the Shell as well.
Yeah.
Have you seen Ghost in the Shell?
No, I haven't. No.
Ghost in the Shell is very good. That goes more so towards like AI and computers. What does it mean to be human? You know?
Yeah, is that the one that was remade?
Yeah, with
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's on Netflix as well. I saw. Apparently, it's shite.
The Scarlett Johansson one.
Yeah.
The original one. I watched it once and I thought, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And then I watched it when I was older and I was like, oh yeah, now I'm old enough and I can understand what this film is actually talking about. It's very good. I think the same thing with Akira. I haven't seen Akira in years, and I think if I go back and I watch it, I'll understand it a lot more. Because it's just like, I think it's just one of those things when you're a teenager or whatever, and you're just like, oh, it's a cartoon. Like,
yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and it's more or less all that you get from it.
Yeah, because the last one was it's actually the last shot, because it's like the beginning of this new universe, like this new era, whatever the ending is, and it's like it looks like an atom.
Yeah.
And it's like all this matter sort of exploding outwards, like the Big Bang. And it looks like an atom, and then it almost looks like an eye, like looking at you. And then like the last line is "I am Tetsuo," like a kind of like a biblical kind of thing, like asserting yourself as
Yahweh.
It's like it's like man becoming God, something like that.
True technology.
Yeah. It's like what?
Yeah, there's
heavy.
There's a lot of even if you were to compare like the city is a living, breathing thing, and the roads and the underground and stuff like that, there's all the veins and shit like that, and that being, you know, Tetsuo literally exploding, like society coming to a boiling point, which is, you know, with technology especially, like bringing us to a boiling point, which is, you know, dropping nukes and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, where the stakes are higher, you know.
Yeah.
Higher than ever.
Yeah, mad film.
Those Japs, they got fucked up by the bomb.
Yeah, they got see throughout their fucking culture, like little fucking hint to recommended film later on. It might have something to do with that as well. You know, maybe.
Yeah, Akira. Recommended. You should. Yeah, when's the last time you saw it?
Jesus, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was like actually I think I might have been 14 when I watched it, or 13.
Yeah, you should watch it again.
Yeah,
you should watch it again.
I definitely should, and I will. I'll definitely give it a go.
Absolutely.
It's on fucking Netflix. No excuse.
Exactly. Yeah.
No excuse not to.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought Netflix had it.
Netflix for some reason are pumping like out the fucking anime now. They're adding loads of shit.
Their library's slightly better than I remember it being.
Every time I go in, it's like, oh, this is there now, and this is there.
Yeah,
like there's loads.
Maybe
of stuff.
I won't unsubscribe. Yeah.
They've added in a couple of classics that like I haven't seen, which is, you know, that's what you want.
Yeah, my like to watch list is like pretty big now.
Yeah, same. My to watch list is pretty big as well.
Like for ages, for like years, I'm pretty sure I had nothing on it. I was like, I'll just scroll through it and I'm like, oh.
I haven't watched any of it, and still though.
Yeah, I don't watch any of them, but like they're
there.
I have added to it. You know?
My watch list is about like 18 things or 20 things at this stage. Some people's watch lists are fucking massive. I don't like having a big watch list.
There's no point doing that. Like, yeah.
But like I've had things there for fucking ages. I just need to watch them. But Jesus, good thing that they're adding in all the classic stuff, because their new stuff is like the Netflix original stuff. Most of it is shite. Like,
oh, it is.
They're balancing it out with content. They're adding really bad Netflix original stuff and classic shit that you actually want to watch.
Yeah,
do the right thing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Have there been any good Netflix originals?
I mean, like, okay, would you consider like Marriage Story and like The Irishman
I haven't
and
seen them.
Uncut Gems and all that type of stuff?
Oh, yeah, Uncle James is good, but that's not. That's not Netflix original. Yeah.
I would consider like Fear Street and stuff like that a Netflix original.
But see, Fear Street was produced by 20th Century Fox.
What the fuck is a Netflix original?
I know, yeah.
Jesus,
I thought Fear Street was a Netflix original because you know the way they do differentiate. Like they'll really press on it if like they feel like they've produced it, you know, or like at least that's the impression I get. But there's some that they say, oh, this is a Netflix original. Like Black Mirror, they're like, this is a Netflix original.
No, it's
but
not.
everyone that isn't American knew that's not a Netflix original.
Yeah.
So they didn't, like, it wasn't a huge part of the marketing and stuff like that. But like Fear Street, like I've always got the impression that was, but apparently it's not.
It's
like,
also fucking awful.
Yeah. My man was like, this is shite. Yeah.
It's also fucking bad.
Yeah. Goosebumps, man.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Yeah, Netflix, they're shy. They're just shy.
Yeah.
Marriage Story, you said that was good, didn't you?
Yeah, Marriage Story is good.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if that's actually, like, is that a Netflix original? I don't know. Like a proper Netflix original.
Because they do spend billions. Like their yearly budget is something like $20 billion on producing their own content. Like what did he actually produce?
I think it's just shows. I genuinely think it's just shows. Because
like,
there are like
terrible shows.
Yeah, bad shows. No one really watches.
Yeah. Because a lot of it isn't in English language. They have loads of stuff that's. I was looking at the list the other day. There's loads of stuff in like the Asian territories and stuff like that. And
yeah, they have
Spanish
loads
language
of
stuff.
Yeah.
It's like loads of Vietnamese shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like obviously that we'd never see. But that's the thing with Netflix, because you'll never find anything that isn't. That they don't want you to see, or like that they aren't explicitly putting in front of you. It's very hard to find anything that isn't already there, you know, or obviously there.
Which is a bit annoying.
Which is, it's not just that's a disgrace. It's literally bad for the industry. It's terrible for the industry.
My ear is so itchy with these fucking headphones. I don't know what's wrong with me. My ears are burning.
Ears are burning.
I watched Rampage.
Rampage, what's that?
Is
Is that the monkey one?
Yeah, it's Monkey with the Rock. Joke's on you. No, it's not. It's AEW Rampage. Because I have done fuck all this week except rewatch CM Punk's return to wrestling. That's it. Brand new season. I'm allowed to talk about wrestling for now.
Who's that?
Right,
CM Punk.
CM Punk. Okay, quick backstory to CM Punk, and I'm not going to go on for too long about this because most people have probably already skipped this section. CM Punk in like 2011, maybe. I think it could even be before that. I can't remember what year he did it. He came out. He was a WWE guy, and he came out and he took a microphone and he sat down and he just ripped into the company, like for real. Like this wasn't scripted, and he was like saying how like John Cena was a kiss ass, just like Dwayne The Rock Johnson was a kiss ass, just like Triple H is a kiss ass, all to Vince McMahon. And he said it's bullshit because you're all big guys that get your shots. Meanwhile, people like me, the smaller dudes, don't get a shot, even though we're way better on the mic than you and way better wrestlers than you.
Was he physically smaller?
Yeah, he's way smaller to like John Cena and stuff like that.
Right.
And it fucking blew up, and he got massive because of it, because people were like, yeah, you're right, it is bollocks. And then he came out to one of the biggest pops in WWE was Money in the Bank 2011, where he came out to his hometown crowd in Chicago. Now, I've heard before, and I don't know if it's true, but WWE released this video afterwards, like the entrance, and apparently toned down the sounds of the crowd because that's how loud they were.
Yeah.
And they were booing John Cena when he came out. Anyway, he had a fucking awful relationship with WWE and left on really bad terms. So bad that he got his he basically got told that he was fired on his wedding day. Like, that's how fucking hot it got between the two of them, right?
Jeez.
And he said, I'm never returning to wrestling again. Now, 2019 hits and a new company starts, AEW, and it started up by a bunch of ex-WWE guys who never got their shot and a couple of guys from Japan. They started up this company, AEW, and they get people that weren't given a shot by AEW or by WWE because for whatever reason, WWE is fucking weird. Like, it's such a weird company. And I fell out of wrestling like completely when I turned to like 12, 13. I got a little back into it when I was like 15 and then stopped again. But, you know, pandemic last year, and I was like, I want to return to watching wrestling again. Like, I want to return to something cozy like wrestling again. And so I got back into it and I started watching matches again. And it's like, I'm not going near WWE. Not because I don't want to watch WWE, but because if you want to keep up with WWE, it's a 3-hour show on Mondays and a 2-hour show on Fridays. 5 hours of wrestling. Fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, pretty inconvenient days as well.
Yeah. Like, I got things to do.
Yeah.
Well, not during the pandemic, but, you know, like, I was continuing on. I knew I was going to keep watching. So I was like, I'm just going to watch AEW. And
what's their schedule?
Their schedule is a 2-hour show on a Wednesday.
That's grand.
That's grand.
That's grand. No one's doing anything on a Wednesday.
And they've just added a 1-hour show on a Friday.
Yeah,
which is
that's fair.
Grand. And it was filled with wrestlers that I didn't know. And it was exciting because I didn't know these guys, and I've been watching it ever since. Then rumors came out that CM Punk was returning to wrestling and was going to come to AEW. And they're like, oh, our second Rampage, because they only literally, the second episode of Rampage was just their Friday night show, aired last Friday. And like, we're going to be in Chicago. And there's rumors about CM Punk returning. And based on the rumors that CM Punk was returning, they were in like the United Center, which is like this massive like fucking stadium. AEW sold out the arena. So that's how popular he is, right? And I was watching on Friday with Liam, and the music hits, and I am not like the emotion of this crowd. Like, you couldn't hear his music at all, and it was cut. Like, it showed like people in the crowd. There was one dude bawling, crying, like tears streaming down his face. CM Punk as well was crying, like, and like, especially because like in Ireland we're not getting, like, we can't even have like people a fully booked cinema yet, but in America you can have an entirely sold out crowd, and it's like, fuck you, it's really annoying.
Yeah, there's no space in around, do they?
No. And no, like, fuck all people. You're meant to wear masks. Fuck all people wearing masks.
Yeah.
And entirely sold out. I don't know how many people are at it, but he comes out and he just rips a promo where he like didn't directly say WWE, but he's like, I had to leave wrestling because I couldn't stay in the place that was making me physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually sick. But he didn't say it was WWE, but he basically said it was WWE.
It could have been any wrestling organization.
But like the most interesting thing about this is, like, AEW, like, people from like WWE is still fucking massive, but it's the first time that they've ever had proper competition in about 20 fucking years. And
yeah, when was the last time they had them? Or who would have been the competitors before? Like
TNA maybe, and TNA isn't even that big. Like that's like, they were nowhere near as big as, like, AEW's way bigger than TNA is now.
Yeah.
And like the star power between them now is like pretty equal, because they have CM Punk, and one of WWE's top guys as well left. His name is Daniel Bryan. He's left and is also coming to AEW. But the funny thing is, no one really gives a shit because people care so much about CM Punk. Like, CM Punk, I think, left in like 2013, 2014, and hasn't been seen like since. He did a UFC fight, got his head kicked in.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But like, it's cool because wrestling has some competition now, and that's always good.
Yeah,
it's not a monopoly.
That's good to see. Yeah.
In the break, I'm going to show you the clip of him coming out, man, because it's actually insane.
Yeah, that sounds emotional. Yeah.
The pop is ridiculous.
Yeah, there's literally nothing better than the hype from, like, I think WWE is the only thing that I can think of, or like wrestling. Not just, I don't know, for me, like, wrestling's just synonymous with WWE, but wrestling is like the only thing I can think of that, or like a performance art, or like, I don't know, it's almost like cinema, because we're talking about it now.
It's just basically soap. It's
just
a soap opera,
but
like,
it captures the energy of sport, you know, because that's something that cinema really struggles to do, especially nowadays, when like a lot of it is streaming, a lot of it is just watching on your phone. Like, there's like a collective experience to watching a sporting event, which is just like, I have never seen captured in a cinema or like by any film. But there's like some kind of mania that happens.
Oh man, it's
when
insane.
Like when you're at a or just watching a sporting event in a social setting. It's insane, like, you know.
Good to see.
Great to see.
Great to see.
Great to see.
Tell you what's great to see.
What?
Another John Waters movie.
Johnny Waters, that man, he's a mad bastard now.
Absolute crazy fucker.
Yeah.
Female Trouble.
Pervert. Yeah, what's Female Trouble? 1978. John Waters film.
Well, sorry, we didn't get to talk about the one that you watched last week.
I did watch one last week. Desperate Living.
Yeah.
Desperate Living. Insane film.
Insane. When did that come out? Like, is that after Female Trouble?
Oh, I have no idea. I have here.
I think Desperate Living, or is that the one with
77?
77. Yeah, this
Is that
because one of John Waters' last movies has a woman, and she has the biggest boobs I've ever fucking seen in my life.
one of his last films?
It is one of his last ones that he came out with.
Yeah, Female Trouble 74.
Yeah, okay, it's because Pink Flamingos, Female Trouble, and Desperate Living are part of a trilogy.
Are they?
Yeah, they're like the Dirt Trilogy or the Trash Trilogy or whatever the fuck you call them.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Desperate Living.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. Because it was made on a shoestring budget, as you might say. As in, like, it cost something like 30 grand to make. And it was shot in Baltimore on location. I was like...
All of his films.
All his early films are. But it was like all the sets and stuff is like literally made of like rubbish that they picked up on the street. And they sort of, you know, taped it and glued it and like licked it together and like made it into this, like, it's like a little town called Mortville. Mortville, yeah. And it's about like it starts with this woman Peggy, and she has a.
Is this Divine, by the way?
No, is
Divine in this movie?
Divine's not in this, no.
What?
Yeah, because there's a reason for that, but I can't remember. Oh no, yeah, she was doing some other film, I think. But it's Mink Stole
I love Minks.
Is Peggy.
Yeah.
And Peggy's this uptight bitch of like a housewife or something like that. She's like really uppity, you know, bourgeois housewife kind of thing. And she has like her maid is Griselda Brown, and her maid is like, you know, sassy black woman, you know, big,
big,
well, big, yeah.
Just chew your chest out.
Yeah. And she kills her husband, Peggy. And she's like scandalized. She's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this happened." And Griselda's like, "Oh, chill out. We'll figure it out." And they go off on the run, and they end up in this place called Mortville, which is like a town full of people who are on the run, who are like, you know, these people on the edge of society, all these rejects, you know, trash. You know, that's the whole John Waters vibe. You know, people who are
dirty and trash.
Yeah, people who are just like unconventional, completely unconventional. You know, freaks, you know, but like in an interesting way, not like in a derogatory way, you know. I was like, they're like freakish in like this is like, they have very unique personalities.
Like the Gummo kid.
Yeah, freakish in like a Gummo kind of way, you know, like a whoa, like a cool.
Staring at his face.
Man, his face so weird. But but like Mortville, it's full of people like that, and it's like this place outside the law, and everything is ruled over by a queen, and the queen's name is Queen Carlotta, and she's this horrible woman, and it's so like Mortville is run as a monarchy, so like these rejects, these social rejects living on the edge of society, like all on the run from their problems. They've all committed crimes and done terrible things and stuff like that, but they're ruled over by this queen, and she basically tells them whatever to do, whatever she wants them to do. And they do it. Like one day she's like, today is backwards day, so everyone has to wear their clothes backwards and walk backwards, and so they all have to do it. But
I've definitely seen that in things before.
Yeah.
It's definitely inspired by that.
SpongeBob. Yeah. Opposite day.
Yeah.
But they all have to do it. But they're like, fuck the queen, she's a cunt, you know. And you know when Americans say cunt, it's like, it's major.
Whoa.
It's like, whoa, they don't like her. They
Jesus.
really don't like this woman, you know. But it's like, it's a fascist regime, pretty much. It's not just monarchist. It's some kind of fascist social arrangement. And there's a huge sexual element, as in all John Waters films.
They're all extremely horny movies.
They're all extremely perverted, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of graphic sexual content in this film.
As with all of them.
In Desperate Living, yeah. Oh yeah. It's like there's like sex and stuff, but like it's like they're not having sex, but like they're like nude, but they're just like humping each other. I think I said it in the last one.
Yeah.
The last episode. They're just like bumping off each other and stuff. And there's like a scene where Griselda and Peggy have some kind of weird sex as well. It's really, I don't know, it's really weird to watch. Because some of it seems really non-consensual, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? You're like, this kind of seems really bad out.
Yeah.
You know, because it is a horrible place, you know, Mortville. Like, it's not just like, this is our wonderful, like, you know, crazy family. Like, this is like an island of misfit toys or whatever. Like, it's a really fucked up place, and the people are weird. But like,
and they're violent.
It's sort of an aside to the fact that like there's like a regime above them, which is sort of imposing this really weird kind of fucked up dysfunctional, you know, sort of arrangement. But yeah, it's a very, very strange film. There's one of the characters, what's her name? Fucking Muffy or something. No, it's not Muffy. No, Mole. Mole is a character, and Muffy is they take in Griselda and Peggy, and they live in Peggy and Griselda live as like tenants in like their sort of like an outhouse kind of thing, like an apartment at the back of their shack.
Yeah.
But Mole and Muffy are like they're like Mole is like a trans man. And Muffy's like this random like sort of like bimbo kind of character that's just like sort of stumbled onto this weird commune. I think they've all killed their husbands or like killed some man at some point.
As they should. Good for them.
There's a scene. Yeah, there's a scene where like there's like a castration and stuff, but it's like but they show it. But it's like a prosthetic.
Yeah, that's the one thing. In Pink Flamingos is a castration, and they didn't show it, which I was very surprised by. They cut away.
I was very surprised that they showed him, because they had because it was all like everything was there, like nothing is censored in the film. Like there's a nudist colony and everything's just hanging out.
Yeah,
and they're like playing volleyball and stuff, and it's just like Jesus, the jiggles, you know,
the jiggles.
Everyone's jiggling, but yeah, like it's just it's just hanging there, and then they get the knife, and I'm thinking like you're trained to think it's gonna cut, but it doesn't cut. It's just like. It's like,
yeah, that's just
it's fucked up.
That's just John Waters, like
that's just John Waters. Yeah, very very shocking.
Just tries to shock you and everything.
But yeah, it's like the plot is just like crazy.
Yeah.
But like, what's Female Trouble? Like, this is a trilogy altogether.
Yeah.
Pink Flamingo's Female Trouble, and then Desperate Living. What's the middle bit? What's Female Trouble about?
Female Trouble is not like isn't shocking. Like like it is kind of shocking in some bits, but like it's more about Dawn something, I can't remember her fucking second name, played by Divine, and it's basically like it just goes through her life and like how she slowly becomes like a murderer, filth person, but like the instigating point is that like she's like a teenager and she wants to get these cha-cha shoes for Christmas, and her dad says to her, nice girls don't wear cha-cha shoes, and he just gives her something else, and she fucking wrecks the gaff and storms out, and she's picked up by this dude who's actually played by like Divine. I don't know what Divine's real name is, but like Divine like not in drag. And then Divine and this guy, the fuck is his name, like George or whatever the fuck his name is.
George,
can't remember his name. They fuck, and I didn't cop until afterwards that it was Divine, like not in drag. So it's like Divine literally like fucks us up basically.
Yeah. That's good.
And so the Dawn is then pregnant and has the baby, and then we fast forward a couple of years, and the baby's all grown up, and it's just like the slow descent into depravity that Dawn goes through. But it's funny. It's way more fun. I think this film is fucking gas. There's so many like one-liners in this film that's like extremely memorable and really quotable. This is one great bit where like one character says to another character like he's like, oh, come on, give your stepdad a blowjob. And then she's just like, I wouldn't suck your dick if I was underwater and your balls had oxygen in it. And it's just fucking great lines. There's loads of great lines like that. There's a bit where like someone dressed up as a Hare Krishna and goes about and says like all this stuff about spirituality. It's very funny. But it is just like this kind of glorification of something that like shouldn't or can't really be glorified, which is like,
what do you mean?
Like pervertism and like
perverts.
murder and like gore and stuff like that.
Being edgy.
Being mad edgy. Like this film was, I wasn't looking at the credits when it rolled, but when I looked at like Wikipedia afterwards, I realized that the film is dedicated to Tex Watson. Tex Watson is one of the guys that went into Sharon Tate's house during the murders. So apparently John Waters years later was like, oh yeah, kind of regret doing that. That was a bad idea. Like it's just a bad taste.
It's like, how is he like so, like, we both knew him beforehand.
Yes.
Knew his name before we watched any of his films.
Mm-hmm.
He's in The Simpsons. He's mainstream pretty much.
I have no idea.
But he's like, he has all these films in the 70s are like they're more extreme than anything you'd see in the mainstream, or like
fucking, even since like you haven't seen anything like.
Yeah,
I think part of it as well really adds to the fact that these films look and sound like shit.
Yeah, like
the audio is so bad in these movies.
Yeah, it's pure amateur, like DIY.
But I think that's why, because it's like, it's this like, and they're super gay, like they're really really gay. There's one character in this film that's like, she like really doesn't want her son to be a heterosexual, because she's like, you're gonna have a job, have a wife, and have kids, and that'll be it. That's so boring. Like, just be gay. It'd be way more interesting for you. I'm worried about you that you're gonna live a boring straight life.
It's mad. Yeah, it's 70s. Says something like that. You know?
Yeah, like it's just like, I think it's just a complete, like, in terms of even the fact, it's like these films that embraced the image that was given to like subcultures. Like, if you weren't white and if you weren't straight and if you weren't Christian and you'd have all these wasp fucking values, you were like
part of the Dreamlanders.
You were just a like dirty little pervert or whatever. And this film, like all these films, like embrace it and like, yeah, we are that, and we're great because of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But they go so far with like embracing murderers and like, you know, literal fucking serial killers.
Yeah. There's a lot of rape in them as well.
There's a lot of rape in them. Jeez, especially multiple maniacs.
Yeah, Jesus, like
The Lobster, like
my God,
The Lobster. I've lost my shit when I was watching Multiple Maniacs. Yeah. Multiple Maniacs is definitely the best one I've watched so far, though.
Yeah, Multiple Maniacs is like more abstract.
Yeah,
you know, it's more like an art piece. Like Desperate Living for me was like the story is really conventional, but like obviously it's not about the story really. You know, it's like an aesthetic experience or like a stylistic kind of thing.
Yeah,
and like the set, like even the sets and stuff like that, all play into it, and the characters. Because I don't know, I assume if you watch them in order, by the time you get to Desperate Living, like you know all the characters by their faces anyway.
Yeah, there's loads, like he uses the same.
You see, yeah.
It's like, there they are.
Yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Watching Cecil be demented and then going back is so fucking weird. We started off in the weirdest fucking place with John Waters. Like,
that was just not like, his films aren't like that at all.
No, but
you know.
But I think like our take on Cecil be demented, where like it is like this embrace of like
of the
avant-garde and weird.
Cinema. Of the rejects.
Yeah.
Of the freaks.
Fuck mainstream cinema.
Yeah. What was it? Celluloid something. What was he say?
Death for Celluloid or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But yeah, that's basically it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's Johnny B or Johnny W.
Johnny W. Where the fuck is Johnny B? Shout out to Johnny B for listening.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, they're weird, good movies though.
Yeah, they're mad.
They're unlike anything you've ever fucking seen.
It's just weird, you know?
I can guarantee you that.
Absolute oddity. Absolute outlier. You know?
I think the weirdest thing as well, though, is that these films are from the 70s and they are just as shocking now as they were back then.
Yeah, that is
which is what they aimed to do, and they still, like, the fact that they still achieve what they aimed out to do.
Yeah, how shocking must they have been at the time?
That's
you know?
the thing. They must have been mind blowing.
But what would our version of this be? Or is this our version of this?
Man, I can guarantee you that if they were to make a
Well, actually, no. If they made Desperate Living today, it would be... Actually, no. When Desperate Living was released, it was picketed, and there was a riot outside it by a lesbian advocacy group or whatever.
What?
Because they didn't... I don't think they liked the portrayal. And also, Desperate Living was the name of a lesbian magazine in the 70s. And they didn't like that he used the name. So, but like, a lot of the themes and
he
like...
pushed all the buttons.
yeah. He was literally like pissing off everybody,
Yeah.
you know? But like, a lot of the themes in the films, yeah, like, wouldn't fly today, you know?
But like, I think...
In the same way,
Yes.
you know?
But I think that like these films were counteracting like conservative culture, and I feel like if they were to do that now, like the perceived idea was like, oh, we live in an extremely liberal world, so we're just gonna be like, it's gonna be called Triggered, and it's gonna be about like SJWs and stuff like that.
That'd be just like cringeworthy.
Yeah,
you know,
that would just be cringe.
These are funny.
These are funny. Yeah,
you can't, you know, those pretty wouldn't be funny.
Yeah,
based on the track record.
Yeah, there has never been one good thing called Triggered.
No, they're just not funny.
We go for a wee break.
We will. Yeah.
Stretch back into that chair.
Oh yeah, get the old lumbar nice and straight.
Yeah, you know, talking about movies, talking about Korean movies.
Oh,
talking about Bong Joon-ho movies.
He's back again
with the host Song Kang-ho as well. He's back.
He's back again.
He's
doing his thing.
He's got blonde hair in the host.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got bleached blonde hair. Looks amazing, man. He looks amazing.
The Koreans are mad for that.
Yeah, the host, 2006 film that he made after Memories of Murder. Monster movie. With some fucking awful CGI effects now. But sure, back at the time it looked very good. But right, bad CGI, but like the physicality of the monster still intact. Like it feels like a real thing that's moving in the movie.
Yeah.
It looks fake, but it feels real, which is a good thing I will say about the movie.
Alright. When was it released?
2006.
Oh
wait, fucking...
Yeah, there's a little ma.
Come here. Come on, fly over here. Did I get him? No. It's not my hands. I got him. Sweet.
He's gone.
Adios.
He's brown bread.
Oh, you can hear that on the...
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
those were his last moments.
Yeah.
Think about that.
His last moments caught. It's like the chicken in fucking Pink Flamingos.
We ate him afterwards. It's alright.
Yeah, the host. So like, in a similar vein to Akira, like this is a film that is very much influenced by how America. Fucking hell.
The mod, he came back.
Came back with a vengeance. In a similar vein to Akira, the host is like very much influenced with like America's relationship to Korea in terms of American cultural influence to Korea. So the film starts off and there's two like coroners or something. I don't know what the fuck they are, but there's an American and there's a Korean dude, and the American dude is like, here, pour all the fucking waste in down the drain. And the Korean dude is like, this is going to go straight into the Han River. Are you sure that's okay? He's like, I'm telling you to do that. Pour that waste into the river. And your man's like, are you sure? And he's like, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
So he does it. And it releases a monster. And the monster goes about and like captures people and eats people. And Bong Joon-ho films are very strange. And Memories of Murder has a similar thing. Where like, it's a very intense, fucked up situation, but there's still hints of comedy, and the comedy doesn't take away from like the horror or like the tension of whatever's going on. Like that's one thing I really liked about Memories of Murder. The drop kicks were always fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But it didn't take away from the real life story that it's telling.
Yeah. There's like a levity to it.
Yeah.
At certain points.
Yeah, that's the mark of a good director right there.
Yeah.
And the host also has these like funny like slapstick kind of moments but it doesn't take away from the horror. And there's a funny bit towards the start of the film where the monster's like going on its first like rampage, and that's one thing about the film is that, like, you know, like monster movie, you're not really gonna get to see the monsters what you expect in like the first or like second scene. I think in like the second, when we're introduced to our main character, 5 minutes later the monster is fully shown in broad daylight, like running around, like massacring people, and like you full on see it, which is very unconventional to like the monster genre. And there's like a kind of funny bit where like Song Kang-ho has a daughter, and he like runs over to her and like grabs her, and then they trip up and they fall, and then he thinks that he grabs her and he starts running, and then he looks and he realizes, oh shit, that's not the same girl, and it's like, that's kind of funny. But then he turns around and his kid is fucking snatched by the monster, and you think that she's dead for a while, but then she's not actually dead. But like it's like oh, that's kind of funny because he's like, oh, you're such a fuck up. Like the hero in this film is the biggest fuck up you'll ever fucking see. Like, he's ridiculous and like how much he fucks up. But he's enduring, and he's no, that's not the right word. He's not enduring. He's
persistent.
No, not persistent. Like, you still like him. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
You still like him regardless.
He's likable.
He's likable. There's a word I'm looking for, but I can't remember what the word is. He's likable anyway. And you know, he fights the monster and so on and so on. But the interesting thing is that like there's like this whole thing where like Americans are like a force in the film, and where like the Americans come in and they're like, oh, the monster is after causing like a virus that's like spread and it's like killing people, and they're like experimenting on people. But then it, like, spoilers for the host, fast forward if you don't want to listen, it turns out that the virus isn't real. It's a pandemic.
Oh man, it's foreshadowing. Yeah, man. These Asians, these East Asians with their foreshadowing of future events.
It's cool.
Just goes to show.
Just goes to show. He knows.
Just goes to show, you know, whatever that shows. They knew. They
knew.
Orchestrated it.
This is Bunch and Hogan. Like, listen, Americans are they're gonna plan something. But it's very obvious throughout the film that like the monster is a physical embodiment of like American influence in Japan, and even to the point where, you know, Southeast Asian monster movies, you know, it's kind of been Americanized like Japan as well, because Japan's also very Americanized in terms of like, it's not like China, like they have their own films and they make their own kind of stories, whatever, and they're very not westernized, but Japanese films kind of are, and
or Korean films.
South Korean films are. I think that's why South Korean films are very digestible, I guess, to, you know, Western audiences.
Yeah, because they make sense.
It's like, oh yeah,
like,
I can understand. It's got Western sensibilities.
Yeah.
But the host is very unconventional in how it deals with the monster movie genre, because obviously it's like, and it's 2006, like it's reflecting, it's looking back in at itself in terms of like, you know, monster movies are very Americanized and there's an expectation with them and they're a genre in and of themselves. So in this film, we're gonna have a monster, and the monster is gonna be the embodiment of American expectations and American culture, and it's a destructive force, and we're gonna twist and turn it and do something different with the monster movie genre, and it's very interesting like that. And especially because he blends all these different genres, like, and there's a shift, like there's a major shift in at about like the halfway point where the monster is like, he's not really eating people, or like you don't really think he's killing people, but he's not really eating people. And then there's a bit where like he leans over this pit and he just pukes up like tons and tons and tons of bones, and it's gross. And they're like, oh shit, he's fucking people up. And there's two kids in the pit, and the monster goes after them, and it just cuts, like, it doesn't, like, normally throughout the film, like, you'll see either someone dies or someone escapes, but in that moment, like, you don't know how these kids could get out of this situation,
Mm.
and it leaves you with that intensity of like what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And even in terms of like the little girl, she is killed by the monster at the end of the film. Like she doesn't survive, which again, like you don't expect. You expect her to survive. Like in every circumstance in this movie, it subverts your expectations. Actually, another thing I'm going to think of it there. There's this major thing of like protest in the film, like because the government are like, and the American government are like, we're going to use Agent Orange to try and kill the monster. And it's like, oh, that's what they used in Vietnam.
Yeah, that's bad out.
So obviously there's protests, but like it's like student protests and like young people protesting the government and doing this, and there's like shots of like Agent Orange like being blasted and people like throwing Molotov cocktails at the monster. And it's like very like student protest, you like very reminiscent of like shots and shit that you've seen.
Yeah,
People going against the establishment, but it's against the monster. But the monster is America.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Yeah, it's a very good film, very very good film. Not perfect, but very very good.
Where'd you watch it?
It's from my Bong Joon-ho set.
Oh yeah. The host,
little Blu-ray job.
Yeah,
it is on Mubi though.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's some on like a French movie or something. It's on that.
Right. Yeah. Because I've heard of it, but I thought it was like the host isn't there a film. The host.
Yeah, the
Saoirse Ronan thing.
the Saoirse Ronan one. Yeah.
I thought it was that. Yeah.
No, fuck that. I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
I'm watching cool South Korean films with subtitles.
Yeah.
But there's a weird thing with this film, right? When it started off, right? So the first scene is an American speaking to a Korean dude, right? And the American is very clearly speaking English. But the Korean dude is dubbed over. And I was like, that's really weird.
Yeah.
But then the next scene happened, and there's two Korean people, and they're dubbed over. So then I realized, oh shit, we're listening to this in like English. Like for some reason, the automatic setting was an English dub. So I changed it to like Korean audio with subtitles. But that maybe I didn't go back. But I was like, that now makes me confused because in the first scene, the American is speaking English. Is the Korean dude speaking English? But if he is, why is he dubbed over?
Wait, what do you mean?
The film, like when I started watching it, I
right.
noticed that the Korean dude was dubbed over, but I assumed it was just like, he's just being dubbed over for whatever reason. Instead of getting a Korean actor that could speak English, they just have a Korean dude and like he's dubbed over. But then I don't know now if the start of this film is an American speaking English to a dude who's responding in Korean, or like is that making sense?
Yeah, well, maybe the American speaks Korean in the subtitle.
But he's clearly speaking English.
Maybe they shot it differently.
Yeah, I don't
know.
No, because it was the audio that was set different on mine. Because the audio was set to English instead of, for some reason, just not being the original Korean audio with English subtitles. Like everything, like Song Kang-ho is going to be speaking he's going to be dubbed over the entire film if I watched it that way.
Yeah, so like what? Yeah, why would they have your man speaking not English?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's really weird.
I just watch it again.
I just have to watch the start of the film again, but
yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Subs, I always stick to the subtitles.
Yeah, I was like, why I was actually pissed. Like, why the fuck is this film default set to?
Yeah.
Like, this is the point of the fucking movie is about American influence and like how it's awful on South Korean cinema, and this film is automatically set to being dubbed.
It's like tone deaf. Yeah, I did that with Akira. Because I had it like I prefer subtitles, but like I have subtitles on when it's in English. I just
I always have subtitles.
I like reading it, but like I had subtitles on for the first like 40 minutes, like to an hour maybe. I was watching at home, and then I was like getting up and I was like making dinner, so like I had my back turned to it, so like I turned it to English dub, and I was like, oh, this is shy, So I just finished dinner really quickly. And then turn back around, like put it back onto subtitles. Like,
do you ever notice as well though, like if you have it that way, that the subtitles are different to the dialogue being spoken?
Yeah. Like that's it's like some lines are really awkward. It's like some of them like full on just didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I was like, this is just a load of bollocks. You know? And this fucking the voice actors, some of them are just shy.
We've had that conversation before.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. Yeah.
Like anime dubs are
like,
fucking always shy.
Come on, you know.
Except for Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is a good dub, but most of them are like, just watch it. OG.
Yeah, fuck
watch
that.
the subs.
Yeah, the host. I have to get into the host.
I recommend. Very much recommend.
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho. Can't go wrong with that fella.
Has a fucked up like. It's not a lobotomy, but they're injecting a needle into someone's brain. It's fucked.
In someone's brain.
Yeah.
How?
He's like pinned down, like, because they're gonna experiment on him, and he's like on his back, and he's all taped up or whatever, and they're just gonna drill a hole into the side of his head.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
And you think that he's fucked afterwards, but he just immediately gets up and he's grand. But it's cool. It's good. Very good. But yeah, the virus thing is, I don't know. I think it's like this whole thing of like America is the virus, and it's not real. Like, we can combat it if we really want to.
Yeah.
Like
Language is a virus.
Yeah.
The Burroughs idea of the whole thing, you know. It's like a contagion, a cultural contagion.
Yeah. Did you ever see that film Pontypool?
No.
Pontypool is a zombie film, right? I think it's Quebec. I think it's from Quebec, and the zombies are spread through the English language. Like, from speaking English, like, it's very, very on the nose.
Yeah. Well, it's just true, isn't it? You know, English is a cancer on this world. It's just like it's so true. You know, like the way it literally affects the way you think about, the way you imagine, the way you see the world around you.
Yeah, your world is constructed through language.
It has a physical effect on the world.
You
know, it's definitely something that we kind of don't think about, because thinking about it would require questioning everything that we believe, which is just like too much effort. Much.
Yeah, it's just fucking effort. Like, it's like semiotics, like.
Yeah, I think, wasn't it in like was it fucking Heinz he was talking about? Was it Fanon or something like that? France Fanon or Edward Said or something. They were like they were mad about, like, they were onto that buzz, I think, in the 80s, one of them anyway, and they decided to just start writing only in like an indigenous language, like their like native language, and they just eventually they did it for like a decade, and they were like, there's no point doing this. Like, this just, you can't win, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that happened, but like, it's literally true, you know. Like the whole Irish thing as well,
especially with being sold to, you know, foreign markets and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to appeal to the English. Yeah, you can't make an anti-English language film and want to make money in the film business, you know.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
or even just like fucking people being like, oh, I can't watch Parasite because it's got fucking subtitles. Best picture, that's a lot of bollocks.
Yeah, sad.
It's like, you want to watch Parasite dubbed? You fucking kidding me?
Yeah, people done that, you know. Have people actually done that?
Some freaks probably have, yeah.
Yeah, some troglodytes.
Some trogs walking around.
Some trogs, man. Fucking hell, like, year one job.
Yeah, year one. We'll move on to our recommended film.
Our recommended film of the 2 weeks is George Slitzer's The Vanishing, 1988. I'm pretty sure pronunciation of his name has changed every single time we've said it. Slitzer, one of them. But yeah, it's a film, a horror film that isn't really horrifying, but also is in like a different way.
Yeah.
It's from 1988. The synopsis here: Rex and Saskia are enjoying a biking holiday in France when, stopping at a gas station, Saskia disappears. Confounded, Rex searches everywhere, but to no avail. 3 years later, he's still obsessed with finding her, pleading his case on television, putting up posters, and ruining his new relationship in the process. Eventually, an unassuming chemistry teacher, Raymond, approaches Rex, intimating that he knows what happened. Very spooky.
Very spooky.
Very spooky stuff.
By God, Raymond knows.
Huh?
Raymond does know, yeah.
Oh, he knows full well. That dirty bastard. Yeah. It's very, very strange film. Another subtitled film.
Yes.
Another foreign language film.
We're very cultured this week.
We're mad.
We talked about one American film this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, is this the? Oh no. Well, with John Waters. But no. Yeah. This is I think it's a Dutch film.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a European film anyway. There's like 3 languages in it, so it's like triple pretentious.
Yeah.
You know? For us anyway.
And it's pretty slow.
Yeah. It's like what is it, 2 hours or something like that.
It's like an hour and 40 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually not. It's not that long, but like, it's very deliberate in the way it goes about things.
Real
Like,
takes its time.
yeah, not a lot happens, which is kind of cool because it plays on your expectations in the way that it's a mystery film. It's a horror film first of all, but it's like a mystery film, like, I don't know, at heart or something like that. You know,
this is such a fucking weird movie.
but at the same time, it's not a mystery at all because in the first 20 minutes, you know exactly who did it
yes,
and what happened.
but the mystery is like what happened to Saskia after she was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Like where is she?
Yeah, the question at the back of your mind, which is the question that's at the back of Rex's mind because it destroys his life in like the years afterwards.
Yeah, this is a film about obsession.
Yeah, and the need to find answers. Answers to things that don't necessarily have like a rational explanation.
Yes.
Which is sort of explained through the film, or sort of like, I don't know, walked through as you get into it. But yeah, it's like it's interesting the way that like, because I'd heard it was really unconventional, but I didn't know that you're just gonna, because half the film is spent with the killer.
Yeah, half the, and like, because like, and it's unconventional in terms of like the time frame of everything. Because like, it took me a while to realize that when you first see Raymond, it's before he's kidnapped Saskia.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, oh, he's gonna do something else again, but that's not it. It's him practicing on how he's gonna kidnap someone. Even the bit where like when you cut to him and like one of the first things you see is like him and his family and they're all screaming. And then he goes down to his neighbor. He's like, "Oh, could you hear the screaming?" And he's like, "Oh no, I couldn't hear anything." I didn't realize at that stage that he's planning on bringing someone up there. I thought he was Paro, that someone was already there, and he was Paro that his neighbor was gonna hear the screaming.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of just kind of tumbles into it because you have the setup is quite tense at the start because it sort of starts out as like a tense like thriller kind of setup. Like in like an American version of this film. There is an American version of this film. Speaking of that, by
the same director.
Yeah, Michael Haneke job,
and it's got Kiefer Sutherland in it. It's got Sandra Bullock is in it. Someone else of name is also in it.
That's when you know to tune out. Kiefer Sutherland and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. He's in the American remake of a film.
Yeah, of a European film. It's just not gonna happen. You know?
It's just not. Unlike fucking if the American remake had Tim Roth and
Naomi
Watts, you know,
sign me up. Sign me up.
But if it doesn't have those two, get the fuck out of
here. Yeah. But like, it's a very very different because it starts out that way. It's like a tense kind of thing because it's this couple. They're not really like, they're like, I don't know, they're lovers or whatever, and they're on a biking holiday, and they're from the Netherlands, and they're going through France, and the Tour de France is happening. You hear it on the radio and stuff like that. It's like on the headlines in the newspapers and stuff. And they're in the car and they're like squabbling and stuff, but like they're like obviously in love and all, and like they're going through a tunnel at one stage, and they run out of petrol, and you're like, oh fuck. Because it's a great premise. They're halfway through a tunnel,
and the film is called the film's called The Vanishing. Like you,
yeah.
Like
I was like, she's gone.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she's fucked. I was like, Jesus, that happened real quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's within 5 minutes of film, and so like they're out of petrol and they're in the middle of like a pitch black tunnel, and they've no like flashlights, they've no phones, obviously because it's like 1988 or whatever this year this came out, but like
1988.
Yeah. So your man Rex has to walk out and find petrol at like some random whatever the nearest rest stop or whatever, but like they squabble on the way out because like obviously she's really stressed.
Yeah, and she's like, get the fucking flashlight. He's like, just fucking leave.
Yeah,
like,
we have to get out of here. We're gonna get run over at any moment.
It's too dangerous to be here.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I know. It's like we need a light. Yeah. We can't just walk out.
Yeah,
you know?
can't just. We're gonna get hit by a car for walking out.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, Matt, Rex, what are you doing, man?
I was like, Rex, you're being a fucking dickhead.
I was like, Rex, at least wait to look for the light. At least wait for your fucking your girlfriend or whatever. Like he walks off into the darkness without her.
Yeah,
he leaves her at the car,
and she screams like, "Don't leave me!" And he's like.
Yeah. He's like, he's all smug walking
Rex
off.
Rex is a dick at the start of this movie.
That's what plays on his mind, obviously later on. But and eventually he gets his petrol and he comes back, And he comes back into the tunnel, and he gets to the car, and she's gone. And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck.
I was like, that explains it. I was like, that's like a real kind of conventional American thriller setup. Like, she's gone. Who's the killer? Who did it? You know, like, it's all gonna play out from there. Like, that's the inciting incident. He drives out of the tunnel, and she's standing at the
other end of the tunnel.
Yeah, just standing outside the tunnel, and she gets in, and they make up, and you're like, oh, that was like kind of subverting my expectations or whatever. But yeah, they make up, and they're like, oh, and Rex says some like fucking some bullshit. He's like, oh, when you were calling my name in the tunnel, I knew I loved you. I was like, why didn't you turn around then?
Yeah, I was like,
why'd you keep walking?
Yeah, why are you being a dickhead about it?
Why are you such a wanker, like? But yeah, and they're like, oh, I love you and stuff. And they pull into like a rest stop, which is where all the real inciting incident happens. Like
in a crowded space.
Yeah, in broad daylight in a crowded space. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally the exact opposite of what you'd expect.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah, it's a dark tunnel, and she's all alone. That's when you expect to get kidnapped, but she's actually kidnapped in broad daylight, where like everyone's around.
Yeah, and also when they're in the, what was it? No, yeah, because before they enter the tunnel, going back a bit, she's talking about a dream she had about a golden egg that like a light in the darkness, about how like she's going towards it, and if she reaches it, it'll all be over. And Rex is like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, oh, I don't care about your dreams. But then you're in the tunnel, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're like, oh, this is the golden egg. Like, this is the moment where something's going to happen. But then it doesn't happen. And they get to the rest stop, and it's like broad daylight, everything's fine. They're made up, they're happy. She's going in to get drinks, refreshments, or whatever for the rest of the trip. They've just filled up on petrol again. And she's just gone. Suddenly, she's just gone. And you're like, this is the Vanishing.
Yes.
The Vanishing, she has vanished officially. And it's very stressful because nothing is really explained for a while. And it's you're sort of in his shoes because you're like, oh God, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, literally, what do you do? Like, I was thinking, like, in my position, I'd be like, I literally wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, you just be shit in the bed.
I'd be fucking, like, imagine, like, literally, because you are in his shoes in that moment, and, like, this is the worst fucking situation anyone could be in.
Yeah, yeah.
You're with someone, and they just disappear. Without a trace. Gone.
But it's happened.
Yes.
You know, millions of times. Like, it happens all the time.
Happens all the time.
Like, that's maybe the scariest thing about the film.
You know, 1 million kids go disappearing every year.
Really?
I don't know. It's the best Joe Rogan moment ever.
Yeah. But yeah, she goes missing, and he's waiting around, and he's like, she'll show up, and he goes to all the different spots, and like they're sitting down by a tree at one point, and she like buried like some
coins or something,
some coins or whatever. And he's like walking around the tree, and he's taking the Polaroid, and he's checking the Polaroid, and he goes into the.
Oh, sorry, just beforehand. Before this, though, before they get to the rest stop, we see a guy putting on a cast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in the car. But, like, straight away, you're like, oh, so this is the guy that's going to fucking end up kidnapping her. Like, we see him, at the very least. We know and see the guy that's going to kidnap her. And he's, like, kind of doing a Ted Bundy job where, like, he's going to pretend that he's injured to, like, lower someone down and then fucking get them that way. And then you see him looking at her at the rest stop, but like, you don't know his name, and you assume that that's all that you're gonna get of that character, but you don't.
That's not it.
Yeah.
That's not the
fully.
Thing. There's a full on.
Basically, the main character of the film.
Yeah, pretty much, because they have the whole kind of like goose chase thing where Rex is looking for her, and he's with like the petrol station, or like the fucking the shop owner. And he's like, oh, you need to hold all the coins in that register, because the guy because he's heard that she went off with a man, and that she was holding 2 cans or 2 drinks, and
he had coffee as well,
and he had a coffee, and one of the gas station attendants, he was like, yeah, they just left 15 minutes ago, and there's like all these sort of obvious clues that that something has happened, and she's gone away, and she's been kidnapped, or like, you know, taken against her will. And he's like with the shop owner. He's like, you have to hold all the coins, because he would have, if he bought a drink, he would have handed one of those coins.
Mm-hmm.
And your man's like, that's fucking insane, man.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. You
Yeah.
know? And like that's basically like that's all we see of him. Like, and then it cuts, and then we're looking at Raymond, and he's he's in his little villa or whatever.
Yeah, he's in the villa out in the mountains in France or whatever. And he's testing chloroform or something. And he like puts it up to his face, and he has the stopwatch in his hand, and he holds it up against his face, and he presses the stopwatch, and he falls asleep, and he wakes back up, and he checks the time. He's like, okay, I have this amount of time to use this on someone, and I can drive this quick, which gives me about a leeway of about 3 or 4 minutes to get back here from where I want to try and kidnap someone from. And he tries. We see him attempting to try and kidnap someone, and it's a complete fucking failure. There's also a moment where like you see him really practicing, like leaning over behind the car to like hit the lock on the door, and then he's gonna grab them and like shove the fucking cloth in their face.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's fucked up. It's extremely upsetting.
yeah. It reminds me of what you call it, funny games.
Yes.
You know, it's just like you're like, oh, stop doing that. You know,
it reminded me of Funny Games and Possession in a weird way for some reason.
Possession.
Yeah, I don't know.
Possession?
I just something about the more so the aesthetics of like how it's shot reminded me about Possession. Not in terms of the story at all, but
it's very nicely shot.
Yeah,
it's very nice, very pleasant. You know, but like it's all in like broad daylight, pretty much all of it.
Yeah,
which is kind of creepy, kind of the creepy thing, but also the fact that you're in the head of the killer for half the film, because he's doing all these things. He's clearly preparing to kidnap a woman. But he also has a family, and they're in the villa as well at some point when you first meet him, and you're first hanging out with him. And he looks dodgy anyway. He looks like a
creep.
He looks like a creep. He looks mad. He doesn't look French. He looks kind of Dutch. You know, 'cause you're like,
dead giveaway.
This guy isn't who he's trying to make out to be. You know, but like, yeah, he's practicing something. And the family are onto it. Like even his daughter's like, do you have a mistress? Because the villa, like he keeps going back to the villa. He's going back to the villa like once a week, but like not telling.
But the miles don't make sense on his car.
Yeah, the miles don't add up. And they're like, do you have a mistress? And he's like, no. He's like, I honestly don't.
He's not lying, to be fair.
He's actually not lying. Yeah, he's actually a very honest man throughout the entire film. But
he actually is, to be fair.
He actually doesn't tell a lie once. Yeah.
Yeah, he never lies.
Yeah. Which is it's kind of the whole thing. It's agent of chaos, you know, in the middle of domestic life. But like, yeah, he's built up this idea or this sort of plan where he's like, the villa is the place where he's going to sort of carry this thing out. And they go into his backstory, and it starts with a moment in his childhood, a defining moment of his childhood, where he was sitting on the balcony in his gaff, and he just like, he looked over.
He was like a teenager at this age.
Yeah. But everyone, everyone gets the call of the void. The French have a name for it as well. You know, it's like one of those things where like you look over a ledge and you're like, oh, might as well jump. You just feel it's
like, what if?
Yeah, I never really get that, but I feel like, oh, I'm gonna fall over.
Yeah,
like if I get even close to a ledge, you know. But it's just this kind of thing. It's like this, like it's like in the monkey brain. It's like built into like your genetic makeup. It's something that people just, I don't know, like it's like a universal experience. And he was thinking this on his balcony as a teenager, and he was thinking, there's no way I jump. And so, as like a sort of test of free will, he's like, I'm going to jump anyway.
Yeah.
And so he jumps. He's
like, am I predestined not to jump?
Yeah. And so he jumps. He gets off. He sits on the edge of the balcony and he jumps off the balcony, and he like breaks his arms
and loses fingers.
And he explains it like later in the film. It was like a moment when he realized, or like that he was like, he asserted control of his own destiny or whatever. And then there's another moment when he was out with his family. It's like recent to the events in the film, where they're like in a town, they're passing through a town, and there's a kid in a river drowning, and he jumps into the river and saves the child. And his daughter's looking over at him. She's like, "Oh, Daddy, you're such a hero." And he has this really creepy line. It's like, "Oh, like beware of heroes. They're prone to excess. It's like why would you say that?
Yeah.
You know?
What the fuck?
That's the creepiest thing to say. You
Yeah.
know? It's like, just embrace it. But his reasoning is, like, he's a sociopath, and he explains that he's honest about that as well.
Yeah, he's like, I think he says, like, after I jumped, I realized that I am what is called a sociopath.
Yeah. He doesn't care about any of those things. It's all a game, and so he saves the life of that child in the river. And
He saves a little girl in the river, and he's like, that is the purest thing that a human could do, save the life of a young child. So I wanted to do the opposite, to create balance nearly.
Yeah.
Do the most fucked up evil thing that someone could do, which is take away the life of someone.
Yeah, just to see if he was capable of it or something like that. And so that's his whole master plan. And that's like laid out in like the middle third of the film. And it's really it's a weird feeling because it's not something that you're used to, like sort of following the killer all the way through. And it's supposed to be a mystery film.
Yeah.
And you still don't really know what happened to her. And it's never actually explained.
But then yeah, I feel like you're all bad.
It is
explained,
but it's
though.
not explicitly. It's like it's only ever implied.
Well, he's just like, I'll show you what I did. We cut back after like all these bits about like learning about Raymond. We cut back to Rex, and it's been like 3 years, and Rex is still looking for Sasuke, and his entire life is about obsessed over finding out what happened to her, to the point where he doesn't care who did it. He just wants to know what happened to her.
And he goes on TV.
And he calls him out. And there's like, Raymond has also been playing a game with them all these years where I send him a postcard to get him to meet up to go to this cafe. And Raymond will just sit there and like watch Raymond. But he'll sit there and watch Rex. But Rex doesn't know who Raymond is. So he's able to, Rex is there, power out his head, like staring at everyone. It's like, is that him? But it gets to the point where after the TV interview, Raymond fully confronts Rex, and he's like, I'm the guy that did it, and I'll tell you what happened, but you got to come with me.
Yeah.
And he does, and you're just like, why the fuck would you do that?
That's the thing with the latter third of the film, where it's like why are you doing that, man?
Yeah.
You know? Because like, I don't know, any reasonable person's like, no,
obviously
like
not.
I'm just gonna turn you in, you know?
Yeah, but it's also like, you don't have any proof that I did it.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, he doesn't.
He doesn't know, but like, you just kill him or something like that, you know? Or like, you know, well, he does attack him. Like, his first reaction is just to attack him, but like, I think it's like more of like a philosophical kind of thing.
Yes.
It's like it's not really about, you know, it's not about the crime. It's not like a Ted Bundy kind of, you know, true crime kind of documentary kind of thing. It's all about grief and like you know, kind of pining for closure.
Yes.
Over something.
Closure's a major thing.
Yeah, that can never be closed really, because it doesn't, you know, because, you know, it's gone, it's past, you know, and it doesn't really matter how it happened. Like, it's happened, she's gone at this stage. But like, he ruins his own life.
Yes.
You know, in the worst way possible, by chasing the answer to what happened to her, even though she's already dead.
And there's a bit even where like he says to Raymond, is like, I'm not gonna harm you, like, I'm not gonna hurt you, I'm not even gonna turn you in. I just want to know what happened to her. And then it gets to the point where Raymond's just like, I'll show you what happened to her. You'll experience what she experienced if you're willing to go that far. And Rex like, get the fuck out of here. Obviously not. And it's like, all you gotta do is drink this coffee. And it's like, what's in the coffee? It's like, sleeping pills. And it's like, it's gonna make you sleep, and you'll wake up and you'll experience what she experienced. And he's just like, get the fuck out of here. And he like throws it in his face. But this is at the stage now where they've been driving for ages, and they're at the same rest stop where Sasuke went missing. And at this stage, we've even seen like how Raymond kidnapped her, and like it's this whole long scene where like he pretended to be a car salesman or something, and he brought her over to the car to sell her a keyring, and she got into the car because she saw a photo of Raymond and his family, and she's like, oh, he's a family man, that's obviously safe. She gets in the car and he fucking chloroforms her. But that's a fucked up scene as well.
Yeah.
And it's like the inevitability of the scene as well, like, you know.
Yeah.
like what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not even really horrifying. It's more like funny games. It's like it was just uncomfortable.
Yes.
You know? It's like, this is grim, isn't it?
Get the fuck out of there, please.
You're not like you're not like jumping or anything.
No.
You're just like, oh, this is terrible,
You're just
you
like,
know?
and you're just like sitting uncomfortably throughout the entire scene.
Yeah.
Because you know the end of the you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you're literally told the ending at the start of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And
By the title of the film, you're told what's gonna happen.
She's gone.
It's a Jesse James situation.
Gone.
Like.
Yeah. She's pure gone, like. But yeah, and he fucks off. He's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not drinking your fucking jungle juice. I'm off into the night.
Jungle juice.
And but he goes over to like the tree that him and Saskia sat at just before she disappeared, where she buried like one of his key rings.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why she went over with Raymond, because she wanted to get a new one or something.
Oh,
like
it's
that.
a key ring. Is that what it is?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
And they had it buried under the tree as like like a lovers kind of thing or whatever.
Together.
Yeah, together forever. And he like digs it up, and he has like an emotional kind of moment, and he runs around in circles for some reason.
He's real freaking out.
Yeah. I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah, I was like, it's just like extreme emotions, but Jesus, man, come on.
Yeah. He runs around the tree like 4 times,
which is weird because everything up until that point been very like realistic.
Yeah. I suppose it is realistic and kind of like why would you do that? But like that's what people just do things like that. It's almost like, the moral of the film. Sometimes things happen for no reason. You know, sometimes people just run around trees for no reason.
Yeah, sometimes.
But he runs around the tree and then he runs back over to the car. And like at this point, it's not broad daylight anymore. It's dark and it's like moody and it's like
piss and rain.
Yeah, piss and rain, thunder and lightning in the background. I'm pretty sure that was actual lightning as well. I was like,
it seemed real.
I was like, did they actually do that? Because that was like amazingly timed that they did. But like it looked very real in the background. And he's over at the car, and your man Raymond still has the little flask on the hood, and Rex picks it up and he drinks it, and he's like, he throws the cup onto the windshield. He's like, let's go, and they get in the car, and then like
he's like, how long does it take to kick in? And Raymond's there like, about 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's just like,
and then it cuts.
And then it's grim, you know.
Rex wakes up, and he's in a coffin. And he's been buried alive.
Not good.
And it's some great acting as well, because his face like contorts with this weird scream, and like earlier on in the film as well, they get pulled over with the police like when they're driving, and Raymond says to the police officer, he's like, the police officer's like, oh, your taillight's out, whatever. And he's like, and you weren't wearing your seatbelt. But Raymond's just like, oh, well, I have a medical cert for that. And he's like, why? He's like, oh, because I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah, I didn't know so.
I didn't. I was like, that's a weird thing to add in.
Yeah. Because I don't like being buried alive.
Yeah, I really don't like being buried alive. And then, so he's fucking buried alive. And
the worst thing.
And it's really well done, because like the camera, I don't know how the camera moves, because I assume that they like, because they don't show the right hand side of him, they only show the left hand side of him. So I imagine they just had the camera on like a pole, and they just like spun it around or whatever, because it's all one shot. Like he's in a fucking tight space, and the film basically ends like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And it's like, oh, so that's what happened to her. She was buried alive.
Yeah.
And now Rex is also buried alive, and then we see like a news clipping of like fucking Raymond with his family or whatever, and there's a news clipping of like mysterious lovers go missing. Both of them gone missing now.
Yeah, it's in your man Raymond's garden as well, in the villa, and he's just sitting there reading a book, and then there's 2 people buried alive underneath him. It's like, what the fuck?
And they're in the 2 eggs.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's in the coffin, and he has his he's got the lighter out. It's like Buried.
Yeah,
with Ryan Reynolds.
I was immediately thinking of that film as well. I've never seen that film though.
I've only seen bits of it because I went in, like, my family were watching it, and I came in like 20 minutes in, but I think they'd already seen it or something. I think Carl had seen it or something, and he's like, oh yeah, he dies at the end or something. I was like, oh. I'm not watching that. But like, he's in the coffin and he has a little lighter, and he's like, he's like obviously like trying to like look around, just panicking or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, eventually he like stops panicking and he calms down.
He just accepts it.
And yeah, he starts laughing, takes off his shoes and stuff, and then he starts staring into the, it's like a meditation kind of thing almost. And he starts staring at the light, and he's like, oh fuck, that's the golden egg.
Yeah.
That's the golden egg. So it all ties back into the start of the film, you know, with the fucking poor old Saskia, and that's obviously what happened to her. That's what she foresaw her own death in the worst way imaginable.
But he also, because he said that the real reason why he really like gets obsessed is because at some point he goes off with his girlfriend to the house that him and Saskia were going after, I think, to bike ride or whatever the fuck they were doing, and he says about how he had a dream about being in an egg with like alongside Saskia in like this infinite blackness out in space, but it's like the two of us met and something happened, but I woke up before whatever happened, so I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I need to find out. Like, it's important that I find out what happened. So he also had foreseen his death, unbeknownst to him. The golden egg.
Yeah.
Being buried alive is not a fucking buzz. Jesus, man.
Yeah, that's grim.
And I like the way as well, like in a similar vein of like earlier on in the film where Rex loses Saskia, he's like, you're just like, oh, what the fuck do I do in that situation? And similarly, when he's buried alive, you're like, what the fuck do I do in that situation?
You literally can't do anything. And that's the thing as well. You know, people disappear all the time. People have also been buried alive.
Yeah.
You know, thousands of people, millions of people probably have been buried alive. You know, that's not a good vibe.
Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. But that's almost like better than like disappearing or having someone disappear. Because if you're getting buried alive, you're like, I'm going to die in like half an hour.
Oh man, it goes on for ages, I'm pretty sure, until you run out of oxygen.
Oh yeah, but like
this 1-inch punch at like Kill Bill.
yeah.
Just fucking break out of it, like just
break out of it, man. Yeah. But like, I don't know.
I think if I was buried alive, I would try and break the coffin purely because I'll be crushed to death by the fucking dirt above me.
Yeah, wouldn't you just get crushed anyway? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I saw. Remember the Mythbusters? Ever watched that?
Yes, I don't think I've seen the coffin one though.
Yeah, they did one with the coffin, but and they buried them under 6 feet, like proper 6 feet of dirt. But the coffin started collapsing.
Oh shit!
So they had to take them out straight away. That's just what happens. I think. Like there's a lot of dirt there, you know. But they're trying to test the Kill Bill thing, and like it's just obviously didn't work at all.
Man, I feel like I'd start panicking straight away if I was in that coffin.
Absolutely, yeah. Even if like it's a controlled environment.
Yeah.
Imagine if it wasn't, and you're actually buried alive. You're like I think you just pass out.
I think you probably would pass out.
Yeah.
And then you just fucking die in your sleep basically at that stage.
It's peaceful.
Ooh, it's so fucking awful.
These things happen. You know, I think that's the point of the film. These things happen. You know,
and they can, and maybe knowing the truth is you're better off just never finding out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter. You know, at the end of the day, these things happen. Sometimes terrible things happen for no reason whatsoever. You know, most things don't happen for any reason.
Yeah.
You know, like pretty much everything that's ever happened has not happened for any good reason.
Yeah, it's just like, there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just happened.
Yeah. So like maybe like the pursuit of that, of like trying to rationalize it, trying to have an explanation for it, is literally what brought Rex into that situation where he was buried alive. If he had just left it alone, accepted that she was gone, you know, hung out with his, like, you know, his beautiful new lover instead, like he would have been fine. But he had to go. He needed to know. He didn't even need to know. He just needed to sort of satisfy his own desire for closure. You know, maybe kind of a selfish desire in a way, you know, because she's already gone.
He's like, I don't even care what happened to her. I think he says like, I don't care if she's alive or dead. I just want to know what happened.
Yeah. When he first meets him, he's like, oh, is she alive? And he's almost laughing when he says it. It's like, I don't know, like there's definitely something in there about like just leaving things alone, you know, just like or accepting things as they come and not getting hung up on it, you know. Very, very much. It's not really like a horror film that like a conventional sense in that way. It's just like it's more like it's like ugh. Yeah,
I can kind of see why Kubrick would have said that this is the scariest movie ever made. Kind of.
Yeah, it's definitely the scariest movie ever made. If your biggest fear is getting buried alive.
Jesus, this is not the film for you.
Yeah, or buried or whatever, you know.
Yeah, this is just the horror in this film is claustrophobia.
Yeah.
But
You're
even
closing in.
that horror of like not knowing what happened, because so many people go through that. Like someone just disappears and you never find out what happened to them, and then this is like, oh well, here's what happens if you really want to find out what happens, and you want to go so far to want to experience, because I didn't know what the thing was, so like when he's just like, oh, if you drink this, you'll experience what she went through, and I was like, why the fuck would you even want to know? Like this dude is clearly a psychopath. Like it's like that could be literally anything. You could wake up and your fingernails are gone and everything. Like that's the best case scenario.
that would make this the most horrifying film of all time.
Yeah, if you're buried alive and you have no fingernails.
Yeah. You can't even scratch at the thing. Oh, imagine that. Oh, because that's what they always say. You know, like when they open up the coffins and there's like the scratch marks and stuff. But no, it's like this guy's killed like the love of your life.
Yeah.
Why are you trusting him?
Yeah, you know she's definitely dead. Like,
why are you drinking his fucking jungle juice? Like, leave it alone. Leave it be. It's happened. You know, report him to the guard or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, vigilante justice or something.
Yeah, vigilante justice, bury him alive. It's also grim that the fucking villain gets away with it as well.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
Bit of a grimy film, to be honest.
But man,
not a great vibe.
I'm not joking. For the like, I was into this film at the first like 20 minutes, but then when she went missing, and you're just kind of following Raymond around, I was mad bored watching this film.
Yeah, he is a boring character. Yeah. I saw that criticism. You know, Roger Ebert had that show back in like America in like the 80s with the other critic. And Roger Ebert was like, "Oh, this is amazing. This is like," he was on the Kubrick kind of side of it. He was like, "This is like a really compelling." Mark Kermode also thinks this is like the second best film of all time.
Fuck off, Mark. Kermode.
Well, but his number one is The Exorcist. You know.
Yeah.
I think, but
which we've also shot on. So Mark Kermode, fuck off.
Yeah, come on.
At least he likes the field in England.
he knows the stuff, but he's got, I don't know. He has some like, you know.
He's got some weird takes.
Yeah. He's got some things he just really likes. But like the guy opposite Ebert on the show, he was like, yeah, it's a good film, but it's a mixed review because the villain is just really boring and he's not compelling at all.
Yeah.
And like there's no reason to really care what he does. And that's like, I think it's really true.
Yeah, I took a 10-minute nap when I was watching this.
Yeah,
I'm not even joking.
10-minute nap.
Yeah, I was.
That's really specific.
Because I was watching this I was fine. I was getting ready to watch the movie. I was like, I'm interested in this. And then it just started, and I was watching it last night. I was like, I hit pause, like, here, I need a fucking nap, because I'm actually going to fall asleep fully.
Yeah.
So I fucking hit a timer on my phone for 10 minutes, like, because also it was 9 o'clock. I was like, I can't have a full-on nap.
Yeah.
So I need 10 minutes, and I'll be fine. But then I found it way more compelling than when, like, the two forces eventually meet. But that's also the bit where I was like, why the fuck is this dude doing this?
Yeah, that's another thing. I was like, it just doesn't make any sense why he would do that.
Yeah, it is though just like a philosophical question.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I think that's the only way that you can really explain it.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any other sense. Like otherwise, like why would you do that? No reasonable person would ever do that.
Yeah,
unless you're driven to madness by the need to have closure.
I feel like there's certain ideas in this film that are really fucking interesting and are terrifying to think about, but. And I did enjoy the film, especially like the first third and last third, really into that. But that middle third, we're just kind of going around and just seeing a psychopath like plan his idea, and then it cuts back to Rex, and I don't know.
He's on TV and stuff.
He's on TV and all.
I think it would have been way better if they just had like the characterization for the villain.
Yeah.
Or like
I wish he was more interesting.
Yeah.
But I think that's also tied into like he's just an average dude though, which makes it that's another thing. Like he is just an average random Joe.
Yeah, I think that's what Ebert said.
But that's also like he's boring. Like that's the problem. He's just a boring man. Like he isn't an interesting character. But that also ties into like why it's so horrifying.
Yeah. Plus like, you know, it's more like the sort of domestic, like the really domestic, like base sort of message of the film that you know, things just happen. Yeah. Random people do random things. You know, random things happen to random people. All that stuff. You know, it's just there's no reason to it. Like, it's very average, very normal. There's no evil inherent to it. There's no, like, you know, grand plot or anything. It's just like the way it is. It's very, like, you know, I don't know, European way of looking at it, maybe.
Yeah, it is a very European film.
Where the Americans would be like, oh, he's evil. He has a mustache.
It's like, oh, he's a fucking American Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the fucking American film is like.
Yeah, I wouldn't be arsed watching that now.
It's not meant to be very good, but might give it a go. Maybe. Probably not. Why would I watch that? No. I've already seen the original.
Yeah.
It's good. I like the original.
Yeah.
To an extent. I'd give this, like, if I was to rate this, it's a 7.
7.
Yeah. A very strong 7.
A strong 7.
But a 7.
Yeah. Well, there we go. The Vanishing.
There we go.
People. God bless.
Very good film. Mixed bag, but ends up on the good side.
It's a grimy film.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a good vibe.
It really isn't. Fuck me, is it not?
But yeah.
Do you know what is a good vibe, though?
What is a good vibe?
Our news section. Woo! Because the new Spider-Man movie got announced today. It's going to be all news. Even that, I was just thinking about that as well. That CM Punk stuff happened last week on Friday. It's going to be nearly fucking 2 weeks old by the time this episode comes out. But fuck it.
Fuck it.
The new Spider-Man trailer dropped today.
I saw that, yeah. I saw it was leaked like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I didn't watch it though, but I waited until...
I saw it on work. Got a ruin at work.
Oh, really?
Some Indian kid uploaded it like that. I had to look at it. It was like vertical, but it was like the video was horizontal. So I had to watch it. But all I saw was like, I was like, is that Doc Ock? But I didn't really see it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was vertical as well.
yeah, but...
And fucking Green Goblin's in it as well.
Is he? Is he in the trailer?
Yeah, you see the ball rolling,
and
then you hear the like fucking
James Franco.
No, Willem Dafoe laughing. You hear it. You don't see it.
Willem
but you
Dafoe's
hear
in it.
Yes,
is he?
He's gonna be in it.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah,
that is great.
I like the way that they didn't show. Now, they're 100. Like they have now until December 17th. I think this is when this film comes out. You're gonna get a trailer where Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in it.
And it'll be 3 minutes and like 48 seconds long.
And
it'll
like fucking ruin the surprise.
Yeah. Well, that's just trailers though, isn't it, you know? I think there was like a study done. Like, because remember when... Because trailers used to be quite different. You know, back in our day, you know?
Yeah.
But like they changed... I don't know. They changed the last few years. Where like they're longer. They're a lot longer now and they just give away a lot more of the plot.
Man, that Halloween trailer literally shows the first like 15 minutes of the film.
Yeah, oh man, I didn't like that trailer. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But like, apparently there was like a study done where people actually like knowing what's going to happen in the film in the trailer. Like it boosts sales. So that's why they do it.
People knew that CM Punk was going to show up and they still fucking saw that there.
Yeah,
so.
The hype. Yeah, because a lot of these films is just the hype, you know. Because especially because people know Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in it, and that's like a lot of the buzz around it. That's just like if I'm going to watch it or if I'm going to go see it, it'll definitely because see Tobey Maguire back in the suit, you know.
Yeah, Jesus.
Best Spider-Man, you know. But like the only one I've seen really. But
I'm confused though because like Andrew Garfield is apparently in it, but they only showed Tobey Maguire villains.
Well, because Andrew Garfield villains are shy.
Who's it? The Lizard and...
The Lizard and Electro. Who had a dubstep song in the middle of his big fight. You know? Like, you can't bring them back.
No, you can't. They're not iconic either.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx. Like, that'd be a big... That's a lot of the budget, you know?
Yeah, that is. To be fair.
For a shit villain.
I suppose that Disney can splash it, but like, yeah, who the fuck cares?
For a shit villain, yeah.
Especially when you got what's your man's name? Molina?
Alfred Molina, yeah.
You got like him and fucking Willem Dafoe. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like two of the Willem Dafoe is like one of the best actors, and Molina.
Yeah, Molina, yeah.
Molina is like one of the most iconic villains in any superhero film.
Yeah, Dr. Octopus is like by far. I don't know, but by far the best Spider-Man villain, at least.
Yeah,
like not even close. Not even close. Yeah, in the films. Like,
in the films, like who the fuck else? Like who else have they done? They've done Electro shit. What if they get Rhino? Like fucking
Paul Giamatti or whatever.
Yeah. Because I was thinking that I was only thinking when we were watching the trailer. Wait, is Andrew Garfield definitely in this film?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. But like he's like the less liked one, though, isn't he? You know,
he really is.
Like he's kind of forgot. He's like in between them. You know, he's kind of forgotten.
Yeah, because he's at Tobey Maguire, and then the other side of like MCU basically is what he's in between.
Yeah, like he basically got sacked when it got bought up, or when Sony decided to go in halves and halves with Disney.
It's not his fault to be fair, but
yeah, but like he like Disney basically sacked him.
Yeah.
Whereas with Tobey Maguire, it was like it just kind of ran out. Like your man, the producer Avi Arad, like he decided that it wasn't going to work, or Sam Raimi or whatever.
Yeah, and Spider-Man 3 was fucking meant to be 2 different movies, and they meshed it into one.
Yeah, and Spider-Man 4 was going to happen, but
Yeah.
they're like, it's not going to work. Like, Sam, go away.
Yeah,
you know,
fuck off.
try.
Sam.
Yeah. I think he's the producer on this or something. I think
Is he?
is. Yeah,
That's mad.
but yeah, Toby, he'd be grand. Yeah,
It'd be interesting to see.
It'd be an it's a decent trailer anyway.
It is a decent trailer.
They embrace the whole
And
comic book aspect of it.
it's a great concept.
It is, yeah. It's surprised I haven't tried it in like. Well, I suppose Spider-Man is the best way to do it because like it's the only Marvel superhero that had like movies beforehand. You know, like well-known movies anyway.
And they had fucking. But like the thing is as well, it's Into the Spider-Verse as well. They've already done the fucking multiverse thing.
Yeah.
But this now, because like I was watching it, and you know, like WandaVision and Loki and Shanky. What was the one that Iz was telling us about?
What?
The first one that has like an Asian actor.
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's Shanky, whatever the fuck that film's called.
I don't know.
Where he's going to be fighting Abomination. They're redoing Abomination.
Oh, the Hulk guy.
Yeah, they're redoing him. Shanky's going to fight him. But like, because it's like all the multiverse is starting off with WandaVision and stuff like that. But it seemingly now, like, that's all started because of Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man was a dumb kid. I was like, here, I want my life back. And it's just like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, Christmas Carol job.
Yeah.
It's a classic story.
Multiverse, Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Fucking, you got fucking Jim Carrey showing up in this. Scrooge.
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, the Muppets.
Yeah, the Muppets. Michael Caine. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I'd be down for that.
All the different franchises you could do that with. Batman. Get Adam West in. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
The Star Treks. Does the Star Treks do
Is
that?
Adam West still alive?
I don't know. Is he?
I think he is, but I have a feeling that he might not be.
I don't know. But you could do that with loads of, like, Batman, the main one. But, like, Batman wouldn't really work because it's, like, it's not camp. Like, the last camp Batman was Adam West, I'm pretty sure. Or, like, what's his name? Fucking...
Adam West is dead.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, 2017.
How old is he?
89. It's old enough, like.
Imagine they got him back anyway.
Yeah.
89 years old.
Gee whiz. They got, like, fucking Robin Hood with him as well.
Gee Williger, Batman.
Robin Hood. Robin.
The Robin Hood multiverse. Yeah.
That is a good point that you made, though. That this is literally the only superhero franchise that you could do that with.
Yeah, reasonably, yeah.
Like,
definitely.
you could only do it with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Maybe the Hulk.
What, you're going to have Edward Norton?
Eric Bana, Mark Ruffalo, Lou Ferrigno.
See, the problem is, though, is that, like, there
no one cares.
There quite literally hasn't been a good Hulk movie.
None of them have been.
None of them have been good.
None of the actors we listed have been in a good Hulk film.
Like Mark Ruffalo.
Only two of them have been in a Hulk film.
Yeah, and like Mark Ruffalo doesn't even have a film of that. You can have Eric Bana. He doesn't even fight any like supervillains in that Hulk film.
He just fights his dad.
He just fights his dad, like, or his girlfriend's dad.
Yeah, it's really funny though.
Yeah.
They'd be like, why?
What the fuck is
why are we here?
Oh, yeah. To be fair, even like the fucking Spider-Man ones, like Amazing Spider-Man isn't good either.
yeah, man.
And there's two of them.
Those are so bad. So bad.
God, how many, like, at what point is literally every actor going to be in Marvel?
I know, yeah.
Man,
Well,
I'm amazed that they haven't got Nick Cage in it yet.
He will. He'll have his own little spin-off, as a gimmick. It'll be sad. It'll be a sad day to see.
Yeah, well, who would he be?
They just buy up Kick-Ass and they'd make a new Kick-Ass.
They even did say they actually hinted at Kick-Ass as well. in WandaVision. Did you ever hear about that?
Did they?
Yeah, they
Is that
had.
Marvel?
I don't know if it's Marvel.
Mm.
Maybe it is Marvel.
It might
Maybe
be,
Marvel
yeah.
might own it.
Might be.
Because what's your man's name from American Horror Story? And he was Quicksilver.
Adam Johnson, yeah.
N-
Taylor Johnson.
No.
Oh, the other fella.
Evan Peters.
Evan Peters, yeah.
Evan Peters, who played Quicksilver in
Yeah.
the X-Men films,
X-Men, yeah.
showed up as in WandaVision
Did he?
as Quicksilver, but Quicksilver was also
He was in Endgame, or he's in
Age of Ultron, who was played by Taylor Johnson.
The shittest. Because that year, both those films came out. And you had Quicksilver in Days of Future Past, which was great.
Class.
And then you have fucking Adam Johnson in like a fucking Lycra fucking Tour de France suit.
And he dies.
And he dies straight away.
Yeah.
It's just like, this guy's the shittest superhero I've ever seen.
Fucking hell. So fucking sad. But, so he showed up, so Evan Peters showed up in WandaVision, and like, whoever the fuck, is her name Wanda? Anyway, Wanda, like, looks at him and goes like, kick ass. Like, she says kick ass as a reference to Kick Ass, which is Evan Peters, who is also in Kick Ass. He's Aaron Taylor Johnson's mate in Kick Ass.
Yeah.
Very fucking weird. Like, that's.
I feel like that's just a reference, though, isn't
It is just a reference, but it's a very strange reference.
Strange one to make, yeah.
Because you have to make all these ties. Like, oh yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was in Kick Ass, and Evan Peters was in Kick Ass, but Evan Peters also played Quicksilver. It's so fucking strange.
Yeah. That's like a triple reference, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they buy it, yeah.
You're quite literally referencing X-Men and also Kick Ass with that reference.
Yeah. Nah, sure, they're going to buy up everything, you know.
Eventually.
That's the thing, you know.
I can't fucking wait until Batman fights fucking Iron Man.
Oh, God.
They'll make it happen.
That is the end. That's the golden egg.
That is Endgame.
That is the golden egg of fucking blockbuster movies, you know. Like, well, they're already dying out, though, you know. You see it's the recent stuff.
Yeah, Suicide Squad didn't do that well.
Bombed.
But that's
bombed.
It's DC, though, and it's also during a pandemic.
Man,
and it's characters that people don't know.
Black Widow bombed as well.
Yeah, but that was bombed because it was released on Disney Plus as well.
But Suicide Squad was released on HBO.
Yeah,
in
but
America.
I don't think they had to pay extra for that. Or if they did, it was less. Which is,
I don't know, yeah.
sounds fucking stupid, like.
Yeah, but isn't it cost more as well?
Yeah, pretty sure it costs a fortune, like.
HBO Max, yeah.
Oh, well.
I don't know. Well, hopefully they all bomb now in the future.
Yeah, every single film from now on will bomb.
Yeah.
Fucking this Spider-Man film is going to make a mint.
Oh, yeah.
This Spider-Man film is going to save the
I'm going to go see
the
this.
fucking film industry.
Yeah, I'm just going to go see this. It's probably the first Marvel film since, like, I don't know. Well, I saw Endgame, I think. Or Infinity War.
This will be the first Marvel film that I've seen in cinemas since, like, the first Avengers film.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't seen any of them?
I haven't seen any of them in
Did you not go
cinema.
see fucking Black Widow, no?
I saw that at home downstairs.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Paid 22 quid for a man. It was fucking bulling.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Isabel paid for cinema tickets for us to go and we didn't go because we recorded episode 50 that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, sorry, Isabel.
Oh, fair. I didn't know that.
So I was like, all right. And I
Sorry, Isabel.
I watched it with my family as well.
Oh, fair. Yeah, that's money's worth then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's grand.
So we go for a break.
Yeah.
If
you
want
to
ask
us
a
question,
you
can
hit
us
up
at
Paro
_pod on Insta
and on Twitter
or
by
email
at the Paro Pod
at gmail.com.
There you go.
We just cut out the little silences there.
Yeah.
That sounded amazing. Yeah.
It was seamless. You won't be able to tell who's who. Our question is coming in from Robin, and Robin is asking us, where's your personal line between transgression and exploitation and why? Ties in very nicely to our John Waters section earlier on.
Absolutely, yeah. A bit of Johnny W.
Yeah.
You know, you love to see it. Yeah, exploitation. That's a really interesting question.
It is.
Because that's, people always get mixed up with that stuff. Gummo had a huge problem with that back in the day. Because they're like, this is just making fun of these people. These, like, people who are unconventional or whatever, or weird, or outcasts. But I don't know, like the line between them. I think it's if it goes out of its way to humanize them in a way,
Yes.
like if it's by them for them rather than just like a voyeuristic kind of thing.
That's a good point. Yeah, because like Cannibal Holocaust and those type of movies aren't by native South American people.
Yeah, definitely not.
They're just like, oh, look at these people.
They're so weird.
They're cannibals. Aren't they so scary?
Yeah. Whereas like Johnny Waters, he loves that kind of stuff. Like Desperate Living, that's that trilogy of films, shot on location Baltimore. Desperate Living, the set was built out of rubbish from the streets of Baltimore, and the cast were all people he knew. So, and they're all like, actually from those communities and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like they're not just actors. It's not exploitative in that way, because it's like it's a true representation, or it's an attempt. It's an authentic representation at least. Whereas if it's exploitative, it's a different thing altogether. It's a kind of a voyeuristic thing.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. And if there is no like humanizing aspect to it, but there even is some like exploitative elements of John Waters, like the whole his like, but that's his own kind of interest, I guess, of like the Manson murders and stuff like that. I feel like having dedicated to Tex Watson is that's exploitation.
That's just bad out.
Yeah, that's just a bad take.
That's just like killing a chicken. It's just a bit bad out, to be honest.
But I'm trying to think of like, there's some films like that Charlie Sheen 9/11 film. It's like an attempt to be authentic, or like somehow tries to be authentic of like or like be a memorial to 9/11, but it's pure exploitation of the event. And I think as well as one of the things that's a difference between transgression and exploitation is exploitation relies on on outside factors that like make the horror or whatever the film is trying to do, tries to pull on your heartstrings on outside factors. The film itself isn't doing that itself. It relies on you having these things and bringing it to the film.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, aren't farm people scary?
Yeah. These people are savages.
Yeah.
This is so creepy, But like, something like Johnny Waters, he knows. Like
even Corinne, because Corinne's from these places as well.
Yeah. But like John Waters, like this, like the extreme stuff in his films, like a lot of it, like a lot of themes that even today would be like people wouldn't like a lot of people like sort of across the board would not agree with. There's some things in his films are just like purposely leaning into I don't know, like sort of moral I don't know, like it's like purposely being transgressive, like sort of leaning into the exploitative aspects of it. But it's more like accepting that these things are part of like living, of like being alive as part of these kind of communities or whatever, and embracing that and sort of leaning into it from that kind of perspective, and not from an outside kind of way. Yeah. Kind of like, I don't know, trying to talk their way through that experience. Yeah. Something
I agree.
Like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the humanizing aspect is definitely key as well. Because Gummo, I think you can contrast Gummo with, there's some film, can't remember, I think it's just called Freaks, and it's just about like that guy that like just had like circus freaks, and he just showed them, he's like, look how fucked up they are, look how weird and fucking fucked up they are. And that film got burnt as well. Like the film, they're like, we gotta get rid of some of this shit, like the company or whatever, like this is not allowed, this is actually bad out, bro. So using like not having any humanizing factor, not even trying to give an authentic vibe or like any way be loving towards your subjects.
Yeah, you have to have respect for, it's just like comedy. You can't make good comedy film without having some kind of respect for the subject.
Yeah, you can't punch down.
Yeah, the things you're making fun of. Yeah. Like you have to, you can even like lampoon it and like be completely disrespectful, but you have to have, or no, you can't be disrespectful, but like you have to have some level of appreciation for like that experience, whatever you're going for, either like personally or by reaching out. and trying to like bridge that gap in some kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know about. I haven't seen Freaks. That's a pretty famous film, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm never ever gonna watch it though. But
I've never seen it. Apparently, it's not. Apparently, it's not as exploitative.
Oh really?
Well, it's exploitative in the kind of way like a John Waters film.
Yeah.
I read an article about that a long time ago. Like I don't know. I'm probably talking bollocks there, but I think it's one of those like early films that's like a really sort of like
Tried.
yeah, like it tried to do something, but like obviously it's limited by the times. Like they are.
It hasn't aged well.
yeah, definitely. From what I've seen, anyway, for like the clips or whatever. But yeah, it's like, you know, you have to try at least.
And there's different way, like, and I think there's different. Like John Waters is very good at that because like Pink Flamingos is pretty like it's exploitation. That's probably his most exploitative film because it is just showing you a series of shocking things, but it's always like looking in a weird way. Whereas like something like Toxic Avenger, which I guess is which would be an exploitation film as well. It's just like violence for kind of violence sake and doesn't really say anything. I think saying something is also a difference between transgression and exploitation. If you have no message, you know, you can't really be transgressive.
Yeah. What would you say about the Hostel films, stuff like that? Like modern exploitation films? Like slasher stuff. I've read stuff about like, or I've seen stuff about Hostel being like a commentary on, you know, like post 90s Eastern Europe and stuff like that, poverty and stuff.
But that's the problem there is like you're being kind of xenophobic when you take that look because like apparently like Eli Roth had like apologized or something to.
Oh really?
Fucking
yeah.
Belarus where the fuck he was shooting that film.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, sorry, it made you look real bad there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just Americans coming in.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fucking look what happens when Americans go off to these fucked up European bloc countries. Like,
yeah. How did they get like this?
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
If you're never saying anything, there's no like humanizing aspects to it, you know. Although, yeah, would you say like something like you haven't seen Irreversible, but from what I've told you about Irreversible, would you say that's transgressive? Or is that exploitation?
Yeah, I don't know.
Gaspar Noé toes that line as well.
Yeah,
in a completely different way.
Because from what I remember from, what was it, that Irreversible episode, where there's a huge element of, because I've never seen it, but I remember we did talk about there's like an element of the like the female's perspective.
Yeah, the toxic masculinity in the film.
Yeah. There's huge emphasis on that.
Yeah,
which is good, you know. But you need, that's like some mitigation there at least, you know. It's not just completely just there to shock you.
Yeah,
like there is like he is like a shock jock and stuff like that. But
he
like,
really is. He's a fucking edgelord.
yeah. But like, you know, at least
and Sallow.
Yes, Sallow is that's I wouldn't say it because that has a lot of subtext. Much so that's like a serious like that's only watchable if you know the subtext pretty much. Like that's you know, but like that's like a perfect example of an exploitation film, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I
suppose.
But but it has, I don't know.
Maybe
what the fuck does transgression mean? But that now I was like, what does it mean to be transgressive? I guess.
Yeah.
Oh god, how the fuck do you spell transgressive?
Exploit. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Sallow wouldn't be, would it? I don't know.
Can't even spell definition right. I could spell transgression. I couldn't spell definition. An act that goes against a law, rule, or code of conduct. An offense.
Towing the line.
Yeah, towing the line. Yeah, because that would be the difference with Gaspar Noé films. Because like it just kind of shows you something awful, but makes you reflect on it afterwards. Whereas I feel like with exploitation films, it's just shocking in the moment, and you don't really think about it afterwards.
Yeah. You know,
thinking is the difference.
Yeah, a bit of
thinking and feeling,
bit of stimulation, mental stimulation.
Yes,
it's not just pure sensory. It's a pure sensory subject. You know.
Yeah, I think that's it. So, and it is again. That's a personal thing, though.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Subjectivity.
It's one of those things you know and you see it yourself.
Ah, you know yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, you know yourself. I would say like Martyrs is just purely an exploitation film.
Yeah.
And being an exploitation film isn't even a bad thing.
Yeah, that's like some people embrace it. Tarantino embraces that, I'm pretty sure, isn't he?
Yeah, his films are completely exploitative.
Yeah.
Sometimes a bad way, sometimes a good way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all very case by case. Case by case.
Yeah, we leave it at that.
We'll leave it there. What's your recommended film for
My
episode
recommended
55?
Jeez, 55 sounds like a way bigger number than 53 or 52 or 51.
Yeah.
Episode 55, we're going to be looking at Gojira.
The original.
Original film, 1954, I think it came out.
All right.
Something around that time. It's from the 50s.
Yeah.
The original, black and white.
Okay. Yeah.
If you can find it, man. I've been trying to find this one for a while and I can't really find it anywhere.
Really?
I don't know why this one was really hard to find. It's not on any of the sites I use anyway.
Yeah. I thought it'd be mad famous, no? Not
Yeah.
available.
I don't know. I'll just have to use a dodgy site.
Wow. We'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it.
We'll find it.
Episode 55, Godzilla.
Gojira.
We might also watch King Kong versus Zilla. Where the fuck
Yeah, that's on Netflix now, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming to Netflix as well.
Is it?
I think it's coming to Netflix.
Isn't it on Oh, no. Yeah. King Kong is on Netflix. Or Skull Island or whatever.
Yeah, it's going on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fuck that.
Fuck
We'll watch the actual one.
The original.
Godzilla.
OG. Alright, we'll leave it at that, so thank you very much.
There. God bless. Goodbye.
We'll have a guest on at some point in the future. Had to rearrange a few bits, so we don't know when our next guest will be on, but he'll be
Soon.
He will be on soon. Spoiler.
Or he's, or they.
Or he's. The plural of one singular man. Alright, thanks very much. See you all next week. Bye-bye.